self perfected.
Let's go! Come and get the news, get some common sense too. Breaking through the filter that's been clouding the view. Step out the algorithm, take back control. No bias, no opinion, just pure gold. Tune in, wake up, it's time to reflect. What's best for all is what we dissect. No spins, no games, just the truth in your ear. Self-perfected, making things clear. So if you're ready to see and you're ready to choose, come and get the news with the common sense view. Self-perfected, making things clear.
What's up? Yo.
Is your mic plugged in?
Is my mic plugged in?
I don't think cameras is.
No, it's
Well,
not. It's,
I got mine. I got my backup one. See, Drake, I know you're in a hurricane right now and your power went out.
I'm in a hurricane.
That's what I heard. I got a text this morning.
It's not a hurricane. It's not
Hurricane Drake coming through town.
It's not a hurricane.
okay. You're saying my mic isn't on? Is it not sounding good?
It sounds like you are.
It just
far
sounds like it's
away.
down.
Damn. Okay. Now yours sounds up compared to Drake's though.
It sounds like what?
Mine?
His is up compared to yours.
Mitch is up compared to me.
Yeah.
I can turn mine down a little bit.
Yeah, you could turn it down.
Mine sounds far away. What the hell's going on there, guys? Why is that happening?
I mean, you just sound like really low. Maybe it is Mitch. Maybe it is Mitch.
How's your volume on your
Okay. You guys seem similar enough to me.
Okay.
All right.
It's just Mitch. It was Mitch. Mitch was,
It was
really
Mitch?
fucking loud.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
My
Well,
bad,
he
guys.
has having problems with his mic, so it is.
Yeah, my old reliable is not so reliable, so
Oh.
I got other old reliable.
What
Got
happened?
backups for this shit.
Emmy does say it sounds like you're farther away.
Let me see if I can adjust that on my side. I don't know. I have
Guys,
no anything.
we rewatched the movie Lucy last
Wow.
night. Did you ever see that one?
Do you really have to talk in my
with
ear?
Johannesburg.
Johannesburg?
Yeah,
What's
well,
her
yeah.
name?
Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson.
Johannesburg.
I'll turn mine down.
Sandra says he can hear your pulse.
How's my pulse sound? Is this better?
It sounds like you're very healthy. It sounds like your heart is beating.
Is this good? If I talk this loud, is this good?
Sounds good to me.
You still sound loud.
Well,
You sound really clear. What happened to your other mic? Did you get it wet?
no. I don't know, dude. It was plugged in. It looks like it should be working. It's not working. So it is what it is. Is this okay though? Because I'll hold it like this the whole time.
I've got
You
the
will not
automatically
hold it like that.
I'm
You
gonna.
will not.
adjust volume thing.
gonna.
on, so.
You will not. hold it.
Otherwise, Sandro hears my pulse, and then you know if Sandro can hear it, Palantir's reading my data, and then they're gonna know how to market to me. And I'm not gonna have that. So,
I think everybody knows how to market to you.
What if Palantir
Smoothies
actually were the
with
good
coffee
guys?
in it?
what if Palantir's what?
What's actually the good guys?
Maybe.
You're gonna have to
Guys,
explain
guys,
that
guys,
conspiracy.
guys, guys,
That
guys,
is.
guys. I'm almost done with Demon.
Yes.
Oh
Finally,
man.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh man. I have like
Yeah.
probably 50 pages left.
All right.
I couldn't stop. Like 2 nights
Yes.
ago, I read like 100 pages, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like this little part of me is like, I don't even know how to describe. I couldn't shut up about it yesterday to Jess.
Yeah.
Nice.
We were like, I was helping her in the garden with some stuff. I'm like, Jess, I don't even know. Like, you just have to read this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's
good.
crazy.
Okay, now make sure you read Freedom.
Yeah. It's-
You'll
it's-
want
it's
to.
going
There's
to my
not even.
Amazon.
You don't even have to sell
I
something.
can't.
But do it
Yeah,
immediately
yeah,
after. Like, do you have the book already? Did you order it?
No, I'll order it on Amazon.
No, you have to
gonna-
order it.
You're gonna regret it if you
Jess,
don't.
if you're listening, just order it. Freedom by Daniel Suarez.
All right, you're gonna have to put the mic back in your ear. I don't like the scratchy
Oh, it's scratchy.
when you move it.
My hands are so smooth.
He's like, I oiled up. I
Okay,
moved.
once and for all, then we can get into serious business. If it's like this, is this too loud?
No,
No, it's okay. It's fine.
it's what it
It's
is.
fine.
guys.
Oh.
No one comes here. No
you know
one
when
comes here for
people
the
say it's fine.
superior audio quality.
That's true. They come here for the. Why do you guys come here? Huh? Fuck are we?
I know why I come here.
Can you drop in the comments what after 296 episodes, what brings you all back?
I gotta say, I'm excited that Mitch is into the demon.
Yes, me too.
I knew I would be. The moment
I've been telling you guys
the
for
moment
years
that
to read
Hummer,
this book, man.
the moment
I'm
of
telling
that
you, it's the
Hummer, I was
best.
okay,
like,
Cam. Okay.
like yeah, the moment of the Hummer scene, something switched in my brain.
Yeah.
I think in all these sci-fi books, when they're good, there's at least one moment where it's like a synaptic connection gets formed. Like for me in iRobot, literally the first one, the story of Robbie, something clicked in my brain where I was like, oh, like spoiler. Okay, if you haven't read fucking iRobot by now, shame on
You're
you.
fucked, dude.
So, so the moment where he positions it like the little girl is in like the humans are basically like the assholes and the robot is actually like the innocent good thing.
Yeah.
And it like did something in my brain for me, and I was like, oh, I get why you would read sci-fi.
Yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
and
you see this perspective of what's implied within something that you wouldn't have considered before, right?
Yeah. So Demon, oh man, I don't even know. I'm still like, this will not spoil it. I am still at the part in my perspective that I can't tell if it's good or bad for society.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You know, that's basically.
You're gonna love freedom.
Dude,
Oh, thanks,
dude, it gets
Jess. Shout
even
out,
like
Jess.
more intense.
So is there a third one?
No.
Okay,
It
good.
was written
good.
as a 2-part thing.
Okay, good. Like, this,
Mitch is like,
about to have a heart attack when I'm reading
I
this.
can't commit to that.
No, I could. It's
to
just
3 parts, no.
After I finished Demon, I went and ordered all the rest of his books. 'Cause we already had a
Nice.
few. We already had a few, but I'm like, I got Kill Switch or Kill Decision, Change Agent. There's like other ones, right?
what's
So-
like the premise of the? Because I saw it on the back of the book. What is the premise of? There's an asteroid mining one.
That's the one I'm
That's
reading
Delta
right
V.
now.
Okay, but then what's the? There's like an influx. Katie kept talking about this.
I
one
have
called
Influx
Flux.
too, but she said when I said what should I read next? Should I read Influx or Delta V?
She said Delta V.
She goes, do you want to read about missing scientists or asteroid mining? And I was like, I kind of like the missing scientists. She was like, no, read Delta V, read Delta V. And I was like, okay. I was like, fine. And it's good. It doesn't have, so far, it doesn't have quite that same as Demon, but it's still
Yeah.
definitely worth reading.
Okay.
And I'm only like 170 pages in, so.
Okay.
But it's good.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
Well, I read to you guys that excerpt about the money system in there.
Yeah.
That was in the
Yeah,
first 10 pages,
dude.
and I was like, dude, fuck, this is awesome.
Okay, so
That's cool.
that sent us all down a rabbit hole because then
Yeah.
everyone's in the distributed page sending videos of like how
talking
the
about?
debt-based system works. I definitely had a breakthrough with that too. I think Kyler posted one of the videos, him or Kanoom, one of them. It's from the YouTube channel called Gold Silver, and it's like when you actually see the map of how it, the IOUs flow, and it's like this shell game thing, and then like I've known the money system is a debt-based system, but now to actually see it at a further level,
When you really fully come to terms with what that means,
yeah,
you're like, wait, so literally the only way to grow is to create more debt.
yeah,
And in principle, that game always causes it to collapse at some point, unless we feverishly figure out a way to create more debt. And it's like, at
Yeah.
some point, there's a limit to that. And I mean, that is the premise of Delta V.
and then it brings into, it's like one of those perspective shifter moments, because then I realize all these business interviews I've ever listened to, all these books, Ray Dalio, fucking Elon Musk, the valuation of this company, and Patrick Bet-David, all these people that are like, business, yes, capitalism, and it's like,
It's so short.
what that
It's
implies.
like you bought. You ever done this? You buy a new bag of apples. You guys buy apples in bags. They come in like
All the
these
time.
5-pound bags or whatever, right? You get them home. Actually, that's probably not a good example. I think the better example is lemons. You buy a bag of lemons. You put them on your counter there for like maybe 2 days. You come back to it. One of those lemons had mold on it, and it's like infected all of them. And they're all just
Yeah.
like rotting. And it's like that. Like now that you see this perspective, you hear all these other people, and you're like, something rotten in there, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you sound so great, but then you're like, underneath that is literally, we have to always go to war. Within that, we always have to have poverty. Like, it's never gonna change. This is a fucking farce. You know?
You know,
Yeah.
this morning, so the power went out here because we had a crazy storm last night. Just like
Hurricane.
Are you in
Yeah,
denial
sorry about that
of
hurricane, man.
Yeah,
it was
Hurricane
not a
Joy?
hurricane.
Sorry about
It's-
that hurricane.
It's just
Hurricane Hazel. Did Hurricane Hazel come to town?
it was just like lightning, like you wouldn't believe, like just lighting up the whole sky, right? And then so this morning I woke up, because the power must have gone off like around like 2 a.m. or something. I woke up, I was hot. I was like, what the hell? The fan is off. I'm like, my first thought is, who turned off my fan? Who the fuck turned off my fan? And then I was like,
The demon.
did I forget? Did I not turn it on when I came into the bed, or did somebody turn it off when I went to sleep? Like what's happening? So anyway, then I realized quickly, like, the power's out. So then I'm so lucky I have a prepper wife who made me go buy a generator like a couple weeks ago, and then last
a couple
week
weeks.
last week she goes and gets, what did she get? She got a can of gas just randomly. She's like, yeah, I just got like a couple gallons of gas just in a can. I'm like, why? She's like, never know, you know? Like, okay. She's like, I want to be prepared. Like, okay, cool. So the generator that we bought is still in the box, right? So here I am, like, okay, let's break this thing out, because we've got 3 fridges, right? And I'm like, luckily it's a generator that can handle 3
Drake
fridges.
has a whole fridge just for like cans of sparkling water.
Yeah.
I do actually.
know.
That's actually
I
my
was
4th
there.
fridge. That's my 4th fridge.
Oh, that's the fourth.
Yeah, I didn't count
A
that in my 3
generator.
fridges.
You're gonna go through that can of gas real damn quick.
Actually, now that I think about it, if you go to Drake's house, his entire garage is just walls of fridges.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just
Yes.
realized that. It didn't
And
seem to
then,
me at first.
and
but
then
now
there's the toy fridges too. You know, for like all the kids play stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Start 'em
So
right.
anyway, I break open the generator. I'm filling it with gas, and I'm thinking about like how much does gas cost, and it was making me think like, okay, so how much is it costing me to run this generator? I don't know. It was just like the thoughts that I'm having as I'm like running the generator.
At 3 a.m.
Well,
The
no, not
the
a
generator of your mind, you mean? When you were running that?
Ah, how much does this cost? But it was making me think like, because I think when Christine bought the gas, it was maybe just under $4, and now gas here is like $4.60 or something like that, right? And I'm asking, like, I'm trying to do the math in my head of like, so does that mean that this gas is worth $3?
It's
Or
worth
does it
more
mean
now.
it's worth, $4.60? Or you know what I mean? Like if I bought something and the value of it can change based on how much they're charging for it at the station now, like, then what does that tell you about how much things actually cost, or what the value of them actually are? And I think in the past I would have said, well, the value is determined by how much it's needed at that moment, and just stop there, right? But now I'm like, the way I was thinking about it when I'm looking at the generator is, okay, well, you could say the value is determined by how much you could get for it, but that's really short-sighted. It's more like the value should be determined by how necessary is it, not as in like, oh, we're going to charge more because it's necessary, but rather, if everybody needed gas to run their house or whatever, it's a crazy example, right? But if everybody needed this thing, then shouldn't it be made available for everyone in a way that everybody could use it? Obviously,
That sounds like fucking communism.
Actually,
Very
think
easy.
that sounds like fucking.
Think about this
bullshit.
though. The
Yeah.
value of it. When we say the value of it, what it really means is, in our system, is how much money can I make from it?
How much can I extract?
How much can I profit from it? So, the more you need it, the more I can profit if I own it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Which is
that's-
really
that's-
fucked.
That's a
Like,
fucked way of looking
it's
at it.
really
An
fucked. It's
extreme
like, oh, you
example is
need this?
those medical patents for, I forget if it's like it's not like insulin, but it's one of those where the
Oh, yeah,
people
yeah,
who
yeah.
need the
For,
medication
like people with
really need it.
diabetes or something.
Yeah, and then they jack up the price.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, so it used to be $200 a bottle, now it's 1,000. Sorry,
It's
I
like
just bought the
it's like
patent.
it's the it becomes more valuable the more that somebody would do anything to get it instead
Yeah.
of dying.
Yeah. Okay. The
And then
really
we'll be
classic
like,
example,
how dare these companies charge all this money if these people need this stuff? I'm like, what about like all the fucking things we need?
But the classic example is like, a bottle of water is $1. But if you're in the desert, a bottle of water is $100.
If you're in the airport, it's at least $8.
Yeah.
If I'm
Right?
in the desert and I've got money, I'm calling a fucking Uber.
Called
Yeah,
Starlink.
exactly. But it's really fucked when you think about it, how the system operates of just like, oh yeah, how much can I extract out of you? I was talking with somebody, I was also thinking about this while I'm looking at the gas. I was talking to somebody who worked in oil and gas, and they said, the oil companies don't really make that much on gas compared to all the byproducts that they get from petroleum, and he wasn't saying it like as a conspiracy or anything like that. It was just more like a matter of fact, like, it's not, gas is kind of small potatoes, and he's like, yeah, they make more on like pharmaceuticals because the byproducts of petroleum with the sulfides and this and that, and it was just like a really boring conversation for him. To me, I'm like, that is seen as a conspiracy theory, like from people that I talk to, where they're like, yeah, big oil, Standard Oil, they basically got people, they got all the medical products to be petroleum based. And to me, that sounded like, when I heard that for the first time, it kind of sounded like Alex Jones saying they're turning the frogs gay. Like, it just sounds so outlandish. They like immediately dismiss it. Like, you're telling me that the drugs they're made out of petroleum? Ha! Like out of like, Vaseline and fucking plastics? That's what you're telling me? Like, come on. I think Chantel's laughing. I don't know if that's Chantel or Owen.
We're
Chantel
gonna
worked
assume
in.
it's Owen.
Well, if it was
Might even be
Chantel,
Stellar nowadays. The Hangouts, dude. Luna and
Yeah, they
Koa
go
are
back
both-
and forth,
They're sending
right?
me messages in all
They're-
caps, like,
They're patrolling us.
they're wow, troll.
Family of trolls.
Yes, family of trolls. I wouldn't call Chantel a troll. She's not.
I know. I feel bad saying.
Owen's
shit.
enough of a troll for both of them.
Owen is a troll.
It evens out.
Stellar is mischievous like Owen. She's a little mischievous. She comes over here and she starts climbing on things, and then Hazel follows her, and I'm like, whoa! Like she'll climb up the closet, the pantry, and I'm like,
It's like rock climbing.
yeah, basically in the house. And then, but it's really cute. It's really cute because she'll do something and then she'll look with her like really big eyes, and she'll be like, like, did I do something? It's funny. It's cute. But yeah, so those are the conspiracy theories I wanted to share today. But I was going to
now-
say,
I think it
value.
just shows the lack of vocabulary people have. Like that, it would seem weird that things can be petroleum based. Like it sounds like a crazy thing because we just don't really understand.
yeah,
And then you start looking into it and you realize how much of the things
Isn't it
we
all
have
plastic?
are based on that.
Isn't
It's
all
not, It's
plastic?
not just plastic though. It's like lots
Yeah.
of things are, and like he said too, like the sulfides. There's all these like other chemicals that you get out of it and stuff
Right.
that can be used in all these different ways. It all comes back to Rockefeller, man. This motherfucker, he fucked over
and
Tesla,
then
man.
they got the education system.
Rockefeller
Damn.
fucked over Tesla. I thought that was Edison.
No,
You
it
just
was
see them as
JP
all
Morgan.
one
JP
big
Morgan.
person.
JP Morgan.
Guys,
Is it? He's the same guy as Rockefeller.
JP
They're
Morgan was buddies with Rockefeller. JP
Uh-huh.
Morgan defunded Tesla,
Tesla. Oh, okay.
so that he wouldn't create the free Wi-Fi electricity for everybody.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to support the oil business of Rockefeller.
guys,
Okay. All right.
what the hell
Sorry, I was
is
reading some
going
Giorgiani.
on?
What is this? What are we looking at?
Oh, my
Petroleum-based
dentures are made of
products.
oil.
Wow.
Golf
Skis.
balls,
Candies and gum.
toothpaste.
What?
That's not enough
not
of
my
the
tooth-
fluoride
not
in
my
the
tooth-
toothpaste.
Not my toothpaste.
Contact lenses,
I don't wear those.
credit
No, I bet-
cards.
Hold on. Think about it though. Doesn't toothpaste have like that that sulfate, or is that shampoo?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah,
I'm thinking
SLS.
that's like a oil-based
sodium
thing.
lauryl sulfate.
You know what I use? I don't use toothpaste. I use something called knobs. And these little like pills that you chew up, and it makes the toothpaste, and then you brush your teeth.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jess will be experimenting with some random ass toothpaste.
When did you start doing that?
Just because I like to use the nano hydroxyapatite stuff. Ever since I
Yeah.
started using that, man, like all my teeth problems went away.
Yeah.
And so I
What
used
is
to
it?
use it from that Japanese toothpaste, and then I saw these knobs. It's no BS because they like don't have the stuff in it.
So
you
I
don't-
have
so-
heard of that.
Because to make it, I'm not trying to go into like a whole thing on it. It's just I
This-
wasn't
this
buying it for
episode's
this
sponsored
reason. I was
by
like, oh,
Knobs.
Nano hydroxy.
Appetite.
yeah.
Is it?
It's like a
kinda
replacement
like
for
a
fluoride,
toothpaste?
basically.
Huh?
No, it's
Really?
just a chemical in toothpaste, kind of like you would put fluoride.
Like
It
chemical?
strengthens your teeth.
It's-
remineralizes your.
You know what it is?
enamel
It's
or something.
basically like if you crush
I used to sell that
eggshells.
shit on e-commerce.
You used to
Get it
sell
from
that shit?
China, and then I was like, I can't ethically do that. I don't know what the fuck is going to be of this. Yeah, it was like a bestseller.
No, but like when I went to the dentist here, or well, relatively nearby, he said he really likes the nano hydroxy, which I had already been using for a while.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's like if you don't want to use fluoride, which I don't know, there's a whole conspiracy around fluoride, but when I started using this Japanese toothpaste called like Premio or something, yeah, I used that for a long time, and like my teeth problems went away because I always have these pains in my teeth, like when I
Yeah.
would eat sweets or something. And anyways, so I started using that, and it helped. So then I just found this one online when I was reordering toothpaste because the other one became super expensive because like imported from Japan, dude. Like so.
Dude, they're like, we know those Americans need this shit. Let's jack
Yeah.
up that price. Give them a taste of their own medicine.
But it's called No BS, and so
Yeah.
it looks like it says knobs. So
Yeah.
in my mind, I don't say this out loud, obviously, but every night, literally every night, my mind goes, "I'm slobbing on some knobs." Jerry,
Now you do
Jerry,
say it out
it's
loud.
Jerry, man. He's fucking with me every night, trying to brush my teeth, right? He's like, "You're gonna slob on those knobs, aren't you, my boy?"
All right. Well,
Hey guys, aliens news everywhere. Guys, how did we not bring this up yet? We're into the
about
podcast.
tell me about it.
I saw it on Jesse Waters on Fox News first. He broke the story to me.
Who's
that
Jesse
reptilians
Waters?
exist. Did you? What a crazy fucking idea, reptilian aliens. I never even contemplated that.
All I can say is all the shit that seemed fringe and out there and conspiracy theorists, like it's all just becoming
on
normalized.
full blast
It's becoming normalized.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did that episode of Jesse Ventura and David Icke come out? Do you remember that? You know what I'm talking about?
I recall that, but I don't know. Years ago.
What were they
Let me
talking about
see.
aliens?
Jesse Ventura,
Was Jesse pro like
David
the
Icke.
conspiracy, or was he like hating on it? Jesse's
Okay,
kinda
so
weird.
there was a
Can't get a good read on
show.
him.
It was called Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, and he would go check out like all the conspiracy theories.
Oh, like yeah, it's like a TV show.
And yeah,
Oh.
and it episode November 7th, 2012. I remember this because like it was on TV, and they were going and investigating, and like David Icke's like, reptilians and blah blah blah, and then
Diana, reptilians,
yeah, there's something
global cabal, global cult.
That's really good.
It actually does sound like him. That's
Yeah,
pretty good, yeah.
that's good.
They're a global cult. I think it's what is that? What accent is that? Anyways, I don't even know. It's like a very specific
It's a
British
David
accent.
Icke accent.
It's a Yorkshire.
Also, the thing
I don't
about
know.
him is like when he talks, he always does like this. You notice this? If you watch it, he's always like the global cult, the elite, blood sacrifice, Saturn, and he's always like doing this with his hands. It's so weird. I don't know. It's always like this. It's like his hands look so weird when he's talking.
It's because he's a reptilian. You didn't know? He's-
Dude, that would be the ultimate psyop. David Icke is a fucking reptilian.
Actually, dude, if you go read the shit Bernard wrote about David Icke,
yeah.
it's so fascinating. He said he had, when they investigate everything, he had the most developed higher self.
Higher self. Yeah.
So he said that was being used to like feed information to him.
But no, I remember in that episode they're talking about like seeing reptilians and like oh right over here there was like some like reptile like creature with a tail and then you could see when their eyes what's the word that they use nictate, is that the right word? Titillate? That's not it.
Andrew Tate.
Nictating membrane, I think is
I think
what
it's Nick
called.
Fuentes and Andrew Tate. I think you're just
You mean like how they got that third eyelid? Are you talking about like how
portmanteau.
cats got a third eyelid?
Nictate, yes. Yeah. No, but you know how like you ever watch those videos where they're like, if you slow down this video,
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
Hillary
you see it
Clinton,
with, like,
you can see,
their eyes morph.
yeah, she's got the reptile eyes. Yeah. So anyway, I remember watching
Dude,
that.
we should do a video sometime, me and you, Drake,
Yeah.
and you'll be Alex Jones and I'll be David Icke. And we'll just try to like out conspiracy each other.
I love that.
That would be pretty funny.
And the turn of the frogs gay, and the reptilians they're all gay because the chemicals from AstraZeneca they got into the reptilians and now they're all they're trying to learn how to reproduce and so they're inserting their DNA into the humans because they can't reproduce anymore because their genitalia has been cut off by the chemicals that they're putting in the water. Gosh.
That was impressive.
That was a word for word.
I thought Alex Jones took over your body. I thought you were portaling Alex fucking Jones right there.
I channeled him. That was it. Me and Alex are one.
Yeah, it was a little too unstable to be portaling. Channeled
Yeah,
Alex. Yeah, so that shit's crazy. What, Cameron? You were sending some stuff last night about Trump with a. There's so much in here.
So here's the weird thing, dude. I watched a video of him saying this. So this isn't just like in the past people said, oh, the ballroom, he wants to put like a data center and all this stuff. And I was like, maybe. I mean, that sounds like a rumor to me, but I heard a thing of him talking yesterday, or I saw yesterday, of him talking recently. And
Was
he's
it-
like showing the construction.
In front of the construction site.
Yeah. And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's like,
And they're
this
gonna
thing,
put this here.
this thing goes down 6 levels.
Yeah.
There's going to be a military hospital, military research facilities, and conference rooms for military. And then there's going to be the ballroom on top because we need a ballroom. And it's really like a shield for the facilities below. And it's impenetrable from, it's going to have sniper nests. And then it's
Yeah.
impenetrable from drone attack and missile attack.
Yeah.
And I was
And
like,
they're gonna put
fuck is this?
they're gonna put a pool in there, a Trump pool, an infinity pool on the second level, and then they're gonna have like a big golden statue of Trump that's also on the second level. They're gonna have a 5-star dining kitchen.
Are you serious?
No, just thinking.
Oh, no. All the stuff I said was for See, you're muddying the waters, Drake.
No, I know what you said was true. I just think it sounds plausible.
Did you ever see on
It's Trump. Why not?
that guy David Wilcock used to talk about these deep underground military bases and how there was like apparently tunnels throughout all of America, like way down.
I don't know
So
who David.
Rest in
Wilcock
peace.
is.
David Wilcock? Oh, come on. So
Rest in
like
peace.
apparently this is total
dude who killed himself,
total
remember?
conspiracy. But that
recently, Jake.
they could you don't know
sorry,
he
go.
like
He
was
knows,
the
he
main
just doesn't
spokesman of
remember.
Gaia. You reckon he's the main like UFO dude who well not main one, but he's up there. And,
He's up there
Looking at a
now.
picture of him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's yeah. But how they talk about there's like underground tunnels that basically connect like all the cities.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, why wouldn't there be?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
So-
They're normalizing all the UFO stuff, and they're slowly dripping out all these videos. And if you listen to Tim Burchett, that representative who's like kind of in all that stuff, he said that there's a war going on between the intelligence agencies that really don't want Trump to release this stuff, and so they're kind of allowing. It's like he's having to fight for like more and more stuff to be released. And his perspective is that somebody else saying this next part, which was Trump is pushing the limit to see where the pain point is, meaning what can I release until the point where they're like, you go further than this, we're taking you out. Right. So that's just one perspective anyway. So like the stuff we're seeing right now, Tim Burchett's like, that's nothing, dude. He's like, there's stuff in there that will shock everybody. And they're deliberately giving you this shitty stuff right now just so people will be like, oh, there's nothing here. And be not interested in it. Because think about it, if everybody shows no interest, Trump will just stop doing it. You know, it's like, oh, people don't care. Right? He's like doing it. And guys, I'm just telling you like the story. I'm not saying this is really what's happening. I don't know. But apparently there's stuff that shock you to your core.
So, where do we even start?
What's gonna shock me?
Okay,
Listen.
hold on. You're saying that. I'm not talking to you, Drake. 15 years ago, if I started telling you about reptilians.
First of all.
No, not first of all.
No. First of all, don't take that tone with me, okay?
Huh?
Don't take that tone with me, okay?
I'm going to take a tone.
No. Second of all, the American public believes that the people who run this world are billionaire pedophiles.
Yeah, now they do.
No, but what I'm saying is, and
You
they're
said
like,
that 10 years ago, people would have thought you were insane.
Yes, I agree. But what I'm saying is, what effect is it having, really? I mean, yes, it's, destabilizing.
No, it's not going to have an
people,
effect, but
like,
it is helping us.
It is, yes. Because
It's helping
what we
us.
say doesn't sound crazy anymore.
That's what I'm saying. That's all.
Because
That's
now
all
we're
I'm
like,
saying. That's all I'm saying.
hey, listen.
On ESPN, they're fucking talking about.
They're talking about this on your
They're
fucking
talking about
ESPN.
reptilians
You're
on
calling me
ESPN.
crazy? You don't call your ESPN guy crazy. What's that about?
It's all being normalized. Imagine in the future, normies are going to be like, yeah, Epstein, pedophile, reptile, DNA hybrid programs, UFOs, Nazis. Like, yeah. In the future, David Icke is like, that normie? He's probably so pissed right now. He's finally
kitty
got what he
stuff.
wanted, but he doesn't get any of the credit.
Right. Poor
Yeah,
guy.
so
You know, his problem was he stuck with the whole love story. So
I think if he didn't stick with the love story, he would have been taken out.
taken
'Cause
out to dinner-
if you
taken
can
out to dinner by
fold-
Jeffrey Epstein, maybe.
Yeah. But also, he was really aware. At least it seems he was really aware of all the pedophilia. I think pedophilia is like a misnomer. But like he was aware of the rituals with children and abuse and all of that was going on for sure. And how that was just like, yeah, you want to be at the top, that's involved, and they're protecting that. And yet he still, I don't understand how he could still claim love as the answer after seeing that, like,
Because I mean, he's just fully consciousness. Like, what other answer is there? It's actually the problem. So he doesn't get it.
yeah,
No,
he
it's
thinks you
obvious.
just raise your vibration through feeling different.
yeah, but
It's like,
okay,
the problem, guys. You know what the solution is?
do the same thing.
The problem.
Yeah, the solution is the problem. Yeah.
I mean,
He's like,
you say
'cause
that.
Literally, okay, what he's saying is raise your vibration. What do you think they're doing? Oh, but they're lowering their vibration. But they're also
It's a global
trying to-
cult that lowers the vibration. I lost it.
yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's like vibration is the problem.
Yes, yeah.
Not
It's like
higher or
trying to
lower.
raise energy, trying
Thinking
to
there's a
generate
higher
energy.
vibration.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what we got to do, guys? We got to charge this battery up a bunch. That's the solution.
Which is what they're doing.
I think the new thing should be problem, reaction, solution, problem. That's the
Isn't
new
that-
paradigm.
Isn't that what it is?
Yes.
Well, problem reaction, solution, accept, accumulate. Problem reaction.
You know what it's like, actually? You know how you have the battery on all your electronics, on your phone, on your computer, all that. After you charge it so many times, then like the battery life dies, and then you just have to keep charging it until it's like constantly you have
Then
to
you
plug
gotta
it in.
just leave it plugged in.
That's what's happening in our system.
And that's
right
why
now.
I have a portable generator.
That's why I have
For
a
your
wife
phone.
who makes sure.
I just carry, I just like
gas
pull
in
a generator
advance.
by myself. It's like they're loud as shit, right? You know what you got to get though, if you want like to reduce the noise, you got to get an electric generator. You just plug it into the wall.
I'm thinking like, how does that work?
Dude, it's so wild though when you actually look at how fragile the system is. How many people have even one day of fucking backup anything? You know?
Yeah.
That's why you got to get another generator. You need a backup for that.
Like we have a well out here, but the well is tied to
Electric.
electric.
Yeah. Our well
You
is.
know?
no
I mean,
good
I have a
if we
generator
no
because I'm not a
electricity.
noob at this, but yeah.
I don't
you
have a
think
whole
of-
house generator.
I don't have a whole house generator. I would like one eventually.
Oh, I got one.
Oh, wow. Look at this badass. The whole house generator.
Bro, we get blizzards here. I'm trying to get blizzarded in my house and have all the pipes freeze.
True. True.
Yeah. Next level.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
but it's
see-
like it's just it's so fragile. It's crazy.
I was just watching. There's this video that's going viral. I was just trying to see if I could find it, but nope, I could not.
Tell me
So
about
I
it.
got a shitload. I opened up basically all kind of the top things we were texting this week.
Yeah.
All right.
It goes all over. It goes everywhere from Sam Altman apparently taking GLP-1s to anti-AI sentiment over to humanoid, alien, fucking everything. And Cameron's speculation that Elon Musk may be Matthew Sobel. So, yeah.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
But not
guys.
actually.
No spoilers.
If you've only read up to the end of
Yeah, if you're only on
Demon.
page 300 of Demon.
later, after you finish Freedom, I'll tell you who I really think is Matthew Sobel.
Oh, shit. All right.
Okay, so do you know? Have you seen this? I haven't seen this one. I saw a different one, but I'll show you guys this one because this guy's videos are kind of going viral. Have you seen this?
Are you prepping for when shit hits the fan?
No.
Gallon of water per person per day. Ideal if you could get a well with a hand pump, but just won't work around here.
Are you flirting with me?
Me? If trying to help you is flirting.
Trying to help me drink water?
And get fuel.
Get fuel?
You'll need a generator even though they're loud as shit. Solar is the long play.
What matters right now?
Getting a doctor who trusts you. Stockpile antibiotics. Make sure your teeth are good. Ammo, obviously. Do your neighbors have skills?
One of my neighbors is a dog walker.
I'm worried about you. Do you want a skill swap?
Can you be a lawyer?
I don't know how important that's going to be in what we're talking about. What was your name?
I thought we weren't going to use names.
Smart.
I saw this other one that he did where, like, apparently he's just walking up to random old ladies. Here's another one. Here's another one. This is the one that I saw. He's just asking them these questions. Here you go.
Are you prepped for when shit hits the fan?
It already has.
So you got your water?
I have everything.
Gallon per person per day?
Everything.
You got fuel?
Yes.
You got quarts of wood?
It never gets that cold.
You got solar panels?
Yes. Are you prepared?
Yes.
Prove it.
I don't want to show off my stuff. Low visibility. Don't be the loot spot.
That's a lie.
Don't print.
That's a lie. Why are you wearing dark glasses when you're interviewing somebody apparently? What are you hiding? Why are your lips twitching? I've hit a nerve. What's going on? Who are you? Who are you?
Do you have a dirt bike?
Yes.
You're not running ethanol on your chainsaw, are you?
I don't need a chainsaw.
What are you cutting wood with?
I'm not cutting wood, I'm gathering wood. That's already fallen and dried, easily portable. See you after Armageddon. We'll meet here.
Promise?
No.
That kind of reminds me of Rebecca. That's I like that one. It's like prepared for all his questions. Like, yeah, I've got everything. Like, are you prepared? I've hit a nerve. Your lips twitching. Who are you? Who are you?
There's a scene in Delta V where the guy is interviewed by a psychologist, and it's very much like that. You'll see what I mean when you're not reading Delta V, are you, Drake?
No, I'm reading. Well, no, I just finished Dark Matter. That was fucking
You like
crazy.
that one?
That was good. At first, I started it, and I was telling everybody like, man, it's good. And then I got to the end, and I'm like, yeah,
It gets intense, dude.
love that. And then now I'm reading Agency. I'm back to Agency. I only started it on the
Oh, okay,
cruise, and then now I'm back in it.
The
And,
title of that chapter where the guy goes to the psychologist is called Mindfucker.
Oh,
I saw the title of the chapter. I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting.
It's kind of his alter ego.
okay, so you know how in Dark Matter there's a psychologist in there, right? And he's like trying to see,
Oh yeah.
he's trying to figure. They're trying to figure out like what happened, and he's also trying to figure out like, is he going crazy? And
Yeah.
like he goes to the hospital, and they're trying to admit him and all that stuff. Yeah, so that was making me think of that.
Oh, hey, you want to hear another book I'm reading real quick?
tell me.
Well, actually, I'm not gonna talk about it right now, but I was gonna talk about it later if we have time. It's called Physics and Philosophy by Werner Heisenberg,
Okay,
the Werner Heisenberg,
Heisenberg.
and if we
Why
have
does he
time,
sound
I'll
like
share
a
some thoughts.
Nazi that was captured and brought into
No, he's
the
like the
US?
uncertainty principle guy
He's
Oh,
the
okay,
guy
okay.
from
from quantum mechanics. No, don't say Breaking Bad. Not that one.
I thought that's who you're talking about.
I know.
Oh, I was
I'm talking
thinking of
about,
Werner
I'm talking
von
about average
Braun, my
person. I'm
bad.
like, yeah, I'm reading this book by Heisenberg. I'm like, not the Breaking Bad guy. You know the one from quantum mechanics? They're like, like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. They're like,
I've never
did you
actually
pay
watched.
attention in school?
No. I never actually watched Breaking Bad, but somehow I know Heisenberg is connected to Breaking Bad. I don't know.
It's just his. That's what they call him. That's what they call the main character guy. His his
Oh.
code name, not code name, but his
Street
Dealer
name?
name?
street name. Yeah, his street name is
Okay.
Heisenberg because he's like a chemistry teacher.
Okay. Is it
Anyways.
based off of this Heisenberg?
I think it's a reference to that. Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause he's like this smart chemistry guy. Right.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyways, no, what was the other thing I was going to tell you about just briefly is, okay, so, I've been reading all these fucking books about schizophrenia and all this stuff, right? So I finished that Daniel Schraber one where it's like from the 1800s, the guy describing his mental
This is the guy
delusions.
who's like in the insane asylum
He's in
and
the
trying to
insane
get out,
asylum.
and he's
Yeah.
like basically
He's trying to prove he's not crazy by explaining
proving
his
he's fucking
delusions
crazy.
that are insane.
Yeah.
And but it's definitely there's a lot of value in reading it. It's one of those things where it's not any particular thing he says, it's just seeing that whole point. But Freud used his thing as like a major analysis for for psychoanalysis rather. But anyways, so I've been reading books like that. Another one called Operators and Things was written in like the 50s or 60s of a woman who was schizophrenic and then later wrote a memoir describing her experience. And then I recently got a book by, do you guys know who Kurt Vonnegut is?
Yeah.
He wrote like Slaughterhouse Five.
Yeah.
Apparently he was like a whole cultural icon in the hippie generation in the 60s and all this stuff. We probably talked about him before. Like Slaughterhouse Five, that's his most popular one. There's a bunch of other books.
I read that one, Slaughterhouse 5. That one to me seemed kind of schizophrenic.
Yeah, and he also has a book which I have not read yet, but it's called like the Sirens of Saturn, or I don't think I'm getting it right. But it's like a book about aliens communicating with people and stuff. I'm like, what? So he was doing some out there shit. Well, anyways, his son wrote a memoir. The son's name is Mark Vonnegut. And he wrote a memoir of his life and experience with schizophrenia. And
His son had schizophrenia?
yeah, like he developed it at one point.
Do
And
you think it was genetic?
he said it was a genetic predisposition. He didn't really go much. I haven't even got to the part where he has schizophrenia yet. Like it's kind of building to that point. You can kind of seeing some points, but he's telling his whole story from being at college, and then it honestly it's a really good book. Like, and there's this one line in it where he's talking about he went to Swarthmore, which is like a really uppity private school, I guess, for university. And so it's like a really tight knit, like, oh, I'm a Swarthmore person. And Swarthmore people like know each other, and they don't, if you didn't go to Swarthmore, you're not anybody kind of thing. But anyways, he just describes, at that time, this was like the Vietnam War was going on. There was a giraffe. Like, so he's like in the middle of that. And it's so interesting because he's describing like what it was like in that time period of people not like telling you what it's like, but just through sharing himself, you're like seeing like, oh, this is what it would have been like. And people were so disillusioned with everything. I'm saying all the shit you're seeing right now, I'm like, we've already been through this, dude.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we've been through this where everybody was like, dude, the government's fucked. There's a war. They're getting us all to go along with it. Like, this is fucked. And he was saying, and it was interesting because he was like JFK, then RFK and Martin Luther. And I don't know if he mentioned John Lennon, 'cause I think that was later, but those three. And he was describing like the shock of that on everybody, and how even the adults at the time, seeing all the kids become hippies and stuff, they were kind of like, I don't know, like they were shocked by all of it, you know, what's going
Yeah.
on, and kind of like almost like, well, I don't know, maybe you guys got a shot doing, no pun intended, you know, like doing what you're doing, like maybe you got something there, maybe.
Yeah.
So nobody was really like supporting these hippie kids. They were just kind of like, I mean, you know, like we don't know what's going on either. It's like there was just no like real communication
Damn.
happening. But
Yeah.
he made this really cool statement, and it was kind of like a commentary on his education and everything. And he's like, making kind of cynically talking about, you know, like it's a liberal arts college, and all these people become liberal arts majors, and they come out of college basically being good conversationalists. And the parents love the fact that their kids, they can talk a lot about, they can say a lot of nothing about a lot of different things basically. And like,
Yeah.
oh, it's great to have a kid who can come home to the parties and stuff, and they are great conversationalists. Like, that's pretty much all you get from it. And he was making this point of how they, all these kids, like they go through school, you know, at his time in liberal arts. And he said, you come away with it. All these kids came away thinking that you can that it's possible to communicate effectively without telling a good story. That it was like this really interesting statement, and like implicitly him saying you have like he was talking about everything being like about stories. And as I'm reading his book, I'm like, oh, he's actually telling a really good story here. Like, it's not just a here's what happened and this what happened. It's like a really, I'm like, this is obviously fucking Kurt Vonnegut's kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I don't know if he's written anything else whatsoever. I have no idea, but he tells this whole story, and it's actually really interesting because at that time they were just like, dude, fuck all this bullshit. Like, I don't want to live in this city, this war, this bullshit. They're like, let's go buy some land. He was like, everybody wanted to go get land, and he describes the whole process of all these hippies going to British Columbia. And like there was all this land there, and then like trying to start like basically communes.
Yeah.
But the way he described it, it wasn't like we're gonna build a commune. It was more like we got some land and we met this guy and he seemed cool, so then he joined in, and then some other people heard about it, and some people from the past, you know, they came and visited, and then it just becomes like this thing where they're all living there. So I haven't got to the part where it becomes a problem. It's like they're kind of like in the we're working together every day, getting up, we're like just hauling lumber and cutting lumber and building shit, and then we're all sitting around singing and playing my saxophone on the roof at night, you know, and just, you know, they're just having fun basically. And
That's hilarious.
even though it's not like a very comfortable existence, they're trying to like do something.
They're
So
like-
at some point he's going to develop schizophrenia. I don't know.
At some point, all these hippies get fucking rich in British Columbia. Like, we got all this land, and now it's
Well,
worth
that's the thing.
millions.
I was like, oh, because I've been to BC.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of people. Not, I mean, there's like Vancouver, but I'm saying like the this is the place where Valley lives. It's called
Yeah.
like the Sunshine Coast, and like that whole all the. I mean, I've been out there. It's,
Like sea to
it's-
sky,
it's-
something like that.
Yeah, like all that out there. That's where they were going, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's why there's all these hippies out there. Like, you know, they're not hippies anymore, but it's like kind of going to like Boulder, Colorado or something, you know.
Yeah.
Or Portland. It's got that kind of vibe to it, sort of, but also
Yeah.
like they're more like in the mountains. And you know, that's where William Gibson lives.
Oh.
You know, and I was
Jeez.
like, oh, and it's again one of those things where you just never thought about it. You take it for
Wow.
granted. It's like, yeah, that's like the hippie area of Canada, but
I didn't know he
there's
was
a reason
Canadian.
why that happened like that. You know, like it was like a migration in a sense of people going out there and all these countercultural people and stuff.
And it was
just
it was
really
people
interesting seeing
in
that.
the U.S. that were like basically
Yeah, like they're
draft
not
dodgers, they
Canadian.
would call them.
Some of them, yeah. I mean, probably a lot of them actually, yeah. Like they
So
were like, we
I'm-
want to get the fuck out of America, and
I'm curious, like how, like okay, how do you go from, because I can see the kind of cyclical nature of our system and how we're kind of going through that again. How do you go from hippie to then being like they're the same people as the boomers, right? The hippies. Are we talking about the same people
Not
here?
necessarily. From my understanding, the boomers now were like at the very, very, very tail end.
Yeah,
Like my
because
mom was
I
listening to
think
the
they were born
Beatles,
in,
but
like,
when
the
she was in like
60s.
elementary school.
Right.
My mom's
I think they were
definitely
born in like the 60s, so they were growing up in that, but the hippies would have been like,
Just before that.
if they're
They
like
would have been born in the
18 during that
50s.
period, they would have been born like, in the 50s or something, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were at the age of then being potentially drafted. So you're 16 or 18.
But they're not the greatest generation. Like the greatest
I wouldn't
generation
say so.
is like they fought in World War II. That's the greatest generation, right? So then this is the silent generation we're
Is
talking
this
about.
self-proclaimed greatest generation?
Well, let's look it up. Like,
That's what they call
yeah.
it.
do you want to look it up?
Look it up.
We can do this live.
Let's look it up. Here we go.
Because I had that same thought, because I was
Greatest
talking to Katie, and I'm like, well, the hippies, is that the
generation.
boomers or not?
Okay,
I
so
think the boomers are right after.
here we
the
go.
boomers, but-
Greatest generation is born between 1901 and 1927. Okay, and these would have been the ones who fought in
I don't
World
care
War
about
II.
them. Look up the
Because then
hippies.
by the age of 18, yeah, that would have been the.
Okay, look up what are the boomers.
What are boomers?
What are boomers known for?
Baby boomers.
1946 and 1964. Okay. So I think what we think of as boomers is like the tail end of the boomers.
Yeah, definitely.
That's actually the problem. That's what, because I remember Katie saying like, the hippies are the boomers. I'm like, really? But I'm thinking of boomers as like, like Katie's parents.
Just do like what's after boomers.
No. Hippies emerged in the 60s, early 70s.
So they would have been boomers. They would have been the people born at the early part.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Technically.
And what generation? What the hell? What happened here? How did I do that?
I'm talking about my generation.
Okay.
All right, hippies
Yep.
are baby boomer generation primarily. Those born between 46 and 64.
To the
See,
tail
I
end.
got
of
that.
I told
the
you.
silent.
I told
Look
you.
at this. Drake.
That makes sense.
Drake, you got to know how to prompt the AI. What are you, a boomer?
The hell is this? What are you showing me?
So Gen X, I guess this is what,
That's interesting. I didn't realize
because
it
my
went that
parents
far
were
back.
born, I think, in 69. I would have thought my parents are boomers. But technically,
Your parents were born in 69?
yeah, or 67.
They're young. 69? I thought your parents were older than mine.
69, so fine.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Gen Y.
Okay.
That's what we're called. Okay.
So, yeah, we're Gen Y, millennials. It goes A, B, C, D.
Then Gen Z to 2012. Interesting.
So, Gen
Dude, look,
Z.
doesn't it seem like when you see Gen Beta, that timeline there, doesn't that seem so futuristic?
Yeah, right.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
But, like, I look at 2013, 2024, I'm like, no. But 2025, 2039, like, ooh, the future.
Yeah.
It is literally, but it's like that
What's the next
feeling
one
of
gonna be?
Something being the future.
Okay, so let me
That's
ask
crazy.
this:
Deeply-
Who
wait,
would have
wait,
been the
look,
parents? Wait, go back.
Yeah.
Rich.
Okay, okay.
Don't
Look at the
fucking-
description on the beta generation.
We're talking about it,
Dude,
and you're
dude.
like hopping out.
What
of
is
it.
beta testing?
Ooh,
Damn.
What's gonna get tested on these betas? Okay,
Born entirely
Deeply
within
integrated AI.
Mitchell. Who would have been the parents of Gen Z?
Wait, hold on a second. First of all,
Wait, why does it say
there's
1997?
there's no deeply integrated AI and advanced immersive technologies right now.
Cameron.
Like, doesn't that look more like a prediction?
Yes, actually,
You see what I'm trying to say? Like,
Okay.
yeah, we have AI and everything, but it's not like deeply integrated yet. Like in all, like, I know it's in a lot of things. I get that. So at some level, yes, that's true already. But at the same time, it more seems like, yeah, that's the generation that was born into like when everything's AI and there's robots everywhere, and you're like, that hasn't happened yet. Like, oh, whoops, did we say that out loud? Like, that's what it doesn't it seem like. They're like, yeah, it's already planned out.
yeah.
It's weird.
Okay, who would have been the parents of Gen Z? If you're born in 2012, I guess you could be like the older millennials or Gen X, right? Would be the parents of Gen Z,
Yeah, Gen X.
Gen X and older millennials, right? Okay. Those parents screwed up. They screwed up.
Oh boy.
I'm just saying. I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming them. But
You know who screwed up? Adam and Eve.
well, yeah. But really clearly since then, we've been on like there's been a problem that we are seeing the results of now that was actually happening during Gen X and millennials, where it's like, okay, now the kids are, because they say Gen Z is the dumbest generation, or I don't know what they actually say. They say it's like the
Have you
generation.
talked to a boomer? I don't buy this whole dumbest thing. Okay, everyone is dumb, and yet we are getting dumber. Yes.
Yes,
But to
we
be
are
like,
getting
see, that's
dumber.
when we started getting dumb. No.
No,
just
no, no.
dumber.
That's what I'm trying to say. Though, what I'm trying to say though, is like, if this generation's already dumb, then it's not like, oh, it just started. Like this has happened a while back, and we're just now seeing the result of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
That's what I'm trying to say.
I totally agree. At the same time,
Dude, you wonder then what
Go back
like a
thousands of
Gen
years.
Z. What do you think Gen Z? Because, for example, I can envision in my mind like what is a Gen X, like what happened in the '60s and the '70s and the '80s, how they were kind of different, right? I've watched a bunch of those like shows, so it's still brainwashing. But you wonder what Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and this Gen Beta are gonna think about the '60s and the '70s and the
whatever
'80s.
the AI tells them.
Literally.
Yeah, so crazy.
I was also thinking of this, like, you know how Gen Z, they're saying like they are cognitively like scoring lower on everything. I was talking to somebody and they were saying, oh, okay, couple things. I was having a few conversations lately. I was talking to somebody and they were saying, when I was bringing this up, they're like, oh, well, but you know, they're not actually dumber, they're smarter because they're using
Like when someone
AI.
claims ADD is a superpower.
Yeah,
they're
sort of
using
like that.
AI, so they're smarter.
They're smarter because they're shortcutting the system.
That's like saying I'm a better filmmaker than Steven Spielberg because I can prompt the AI or something, and like
I know,
I'm a
I
better
know.
animator than all of Pixar. Like I don't know if I can know how to draw.
So what he was saying though, when he was saying that, I was like,
I'm so good at getting women, dude. You should check my OnlyFans subscriptions. I got so many women that I can just look at their bodies. Like, come on. Like I
Right.
use OnlyFans.
right,
It's like,
right.
come on, dude.
So he was saying that, and I was just like, I was thinking the same thing that you're saying. Why was I bringing that up though? Because it was as if he was saying, like, well, they're shortcutting the system, so they see like a way through that, you know, like they see that's obviously bullshit, so they're not going along with all of that stuff, so they just
All of
shortcut along with the testing
Okay.
and going to school and all of that stuff, you know. That's what he was trying to say. Like it's all busy work anyway, so why do the work? You could just have AI do it, you know. Which I get that, right?
But hold on. We were all doing that even before cheating
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
Like, so they're smarter
Because they have tools
they're
that are more
smarter,
advanced,
or
right?
they're just got the opportunity. Like, okay, so if you go back into like when I was in school and if we had ChatGPT, you don't think we would have all been fucking using it? Like,
Exactly.
give me a break, dude. I
Yes.
know we would have. Absolutely.
Yeah. What was the other thing? The other thing was this. I was talking to somebody else. This guy's a mechanic, and he was saying how the mechanics that come in now. This guy, he's like master certified mechanic, blah blah blah. Works for some luxury. Not like
Skunk
but
works.
some luxury type of, I don't know, car company. And he says the mechanics that they get in now, like the young guys who'll be 20 or whatever, he says he's astounded by how much they don't know. Where they'll come in and he'll say, okay, so just open up the manual and read the manual. That's what we're supposed to do. When you get a car in and you don't know what to do, just look at the manual, you know, and it'll tell you how this thing operates. It's like they can't read it. They literally cannot read it. They have no clue.
That's why I don't understand. How do you use AI if you can't read?
And
Like, I know you can talk to it, but that's so fucking slow.
and he was saying like they had to fire like 3 guys already, 3 young guys who just came in, they've got great work ethic. He's like, it's crazy to me because they want to work, they're working hard, but they literally can't understand anything. And he says they'll sit there and they'll ask me,
Damn.
they'll go,
Damn.
this is a dumb question. And he's like, and it will be a dumb question. It will really be an actual dumb question. And I'm like, wow, that was a dumb question. Okay. You know, he's like, I'm not trying to say they don't know anything. Like, you know, they'll maybe show me something on like, you know, an app or something like that. That's cool. But, like when it comes to being able to do the work, they'll sit there and he goes to me, he goes, I literally just met this guy and he goes, I could give you, a wiring diagram. And I have full confidence that in an hour you would understand the diagram, you know? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'll take your word for it. I'm not seeing the wiring diagram. I don't know. But he's like, no, I'm talking to you. I can see you
I
would
can
be
tell
able to
you're
figure it out.
intelligent enough.
Yeah.
Like, you can look at it and be like, okay, this is that.
Right.
Okay, this is what this means. Yeah.
Right. He's like, they cannot do that.
Yeah.
He's like, they're just like, I have no idea. They can't even
And these
sit
kids
with
are
it.
how old? Like 18?
They're 20s. They're in their 20s, young 20s guys, right? And it was making me think, I can see what's going to happen next. I can see, okay, so in the future, you're going to get, we may not be there yet, but in the future, you're going to get some guys who they want to be a mechanic, but they don't understand anything. Okay, but then they're going to put on like a little VR, you know, meta glasses, whatever headset, and it's going to tell them, twist this thing here.
It's going to be like Candy Crush.
You know, yeah, exactly. Like,
Dude.
you know, plug this into here, you know,
perfect
all that
slave.
sort of stuff. You know what I'm talking about, Cam?
I'm thinking about Delta V right now. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
There's like a whole thing. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like that. And,
Wow.
and so they're going to put on the glasses. They're going to know what to do from that perspective. And then as soon as the glasses come off, they're going to be like,
It'll be like an augmented reality.
How-
And it's like a highlight on this nut, and it's like you look over and it's like the wrench is highlighted, right?
Yeah.
You
What-
pick that up.
I'm-
And it's
I'm
like,
just
turn it
wondering,
this
though,
way.
right.
Like, why
and it's
would
going to tell
the-
you where you left that wrench because it's in the other
Oh,
room.
yeah,
Like,
you'll see like like the heads up displays. It'll be like a red thing,
Right.
So you're like, oh, it's over
Well,
here somewhere.
okay,
And it's like,
if you think about this like a ruthless capitalist, you're either going to decide between I'm going to have a robot that does it, or I'm going to have a human slave that does it with their headset on. That's like
and they'll get the humans to do it just long enough that it gives them enough data to train the robot. I mean,
exactly. And then with
okay,
the
so
human,
I understand somebody could be like, well, I don't think robots are that effective, and it's really hard engineering problem. Yes, fine, but you think they're not going to solve that problem?
dude,
wait,
do you see
hold
the
on, hold on.
Zuckerberg announcement?
My rebuttal to that is, do you see, like, obviously you don't interact with the generation that is in school right now and entering into the workforce right
They
now.
have no choice but to get
Exactly. They cannot do. Okay, maybe it wouldn't
point.
replace you or I.
Yeah, like if you have someone highly
Sure.
technically proficient with common
Yeah.
sense and they're intelligent, yes,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to replace it. Yeah,
Right. But to replace somebody who can't do anything, that's easy. That's fucking easy.
well, it's necessary.
Yes. And okay, think about this as well. This is what this guy said to me. He said, the mechanic, he was saying, one of the biggest problems that I see, aside from them not being able to read, and so they don't know what to do, he's like, they also can't make any decisions. So there'll be this thing in front of them, this problem, and they're like, well, maybe I could try this. And he's like, okay, do that. They're like, oh, but what if that doesn't work? What if maybe I should do this? He's like, just do one of the things that you said. Just like the way he looks at it, he's like, just start doing the problem. You'll see if it works or not. You'll
I had that
figure it
issue
out.
with tutoring math, where the students are like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, try
Right.
something.
Right.
I don't know what to do either. I would start dividing, multiplying. I'd start trying and then be like, okay, that's not working. Let me try. I don't know what to do. You don't
Yeah.
know until you get far enough where you're like, oh, I see what's going on here. Like
Yeah.
that's just the normal. So they don't have the problem solving attitude.
Right.
It's like, unless I know exactly what to do, I'm not doing anything.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Damn.
Fucked.
Damn. So, yeah, did you see that leaked meeting from Zuckerberg?
No.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yes, but I don't remember. Tell me
But,
about
but
it.
it was ahead of mass layoffs.
Oh yeah.
What he's saying.
Yeah.
You wanna say it, Mitch?
So they call it their like personal work device or something. They're like, you need to have your device on you, so it can be watching what you're doing. So the device must be some sort of a monitoring device. And he's like, basically, yep, mass layoffs are ahead, but make sure you got the device on you so we can watch what you're doing. So that way you can train
totally
the AI.
unconnected
Because
to
the
the other
AI
thing.
is, well, he opens the whole thing with like, AI is, it's like an 8-minute audio. We don't have to listen to it. But he's like, this AI is so powerful. Like, we need to keep like, basically like, AI is powerful, AI is good. Now, yeah, I know everyone's concerned about layoffs. Yeah, make sure the device is on you so we can get the data and train the powerful AI.
It's like Office Space, where he's like, yeah. You remember the boss, right? Yeah. I'm gonna have to have you file that report, you know, and you're just like, yeah. You know what it makes me think of is somebody who's digging a grave. They're digging their own grave. And they're like starting to realize, they're like, hey, I don't really want to dig my own grave. And the guy's like, yeah, if you could just kind of keep digging that grave, okay? It's really important to the, you know, the situation here for what we're trying to do, and you're a team player, and if you could just keep digging that grave a little bit longer, that'd be great. Don't worry about too much about it. Like, that's literally...
Good thing you did this rebrand a
Yeah.
few years back. Okay,
Yeah,
if someone looks
reptilians.
reptilian, now I think he literally
If
wears
anybody's a
colored
reptilian,
contacts.
it's definitely
I think he wears colored contacts.
Is that what
cover up
happened?
His slits.
Wow, he got some color. He looks more human now. Definitely.
Do you guys remember that whole all those videos they made about like the metaverse and shit? It was so weird.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that? It's so... I've seen clips even recently. I'm just like, so weird, dude.
What? Where he was like in the metaverse?
No, just look
just
up
the
clips
interviews-
of like the metaverse like launch.
Yeah, they're like making
Like
the
they're
video
doing their
games.
presentation of it, and there's this one where he's interviewing, like it's him talking to like one of the women who's like a product developer or whatever, and the interaction is so weird and forced and strange,
Yeah.
and oh, it's worth watching. It's fucking weird, dude. And you're like, how did this get past their final approval? You know?
He's like, wow, so cool.
Yeah.
Tell me more about
what
that.
Yeah,
else
that
is
one.
great about this product? It's like, great question, Mark. I'm glad you asked. You know, and you're like,
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
But he's like interviewing some girl.
Yeah, I don't know.
let me see if I can find something real quick. Zuckerberg
That the Sunday morning one.
promotional.
Yeah, that one. No, scroll up. As a
Me?
kid. Yeah, you. Yeah, that one. 2005 from Young Entrepreneurs. That one.
This one?
Yeah, click it.
Really?
Click it. I want to see it.
But 21-year-old Mark
it's not
Zuckerberg
that.
turned
that's where
his
he's
little
21.
web experiment
All right.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Oh,
when
this
he was
is
a
the
kid.
propaganda psyop, so you don't realize
a
it's
very-
from fucking DARPA.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find something.
Sancho says he looks reptilian in the metaverse, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But see, they have that, like you were just talking about, that problem-solving attitude. Like, Zuckerberg doesn't really fucking care. He's like, this is going to be awkward as fuck. Who cares? Just do it and keep going. Just don't fucking stop. Just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, it's
And yeah.
it's interesting when you consider like they don't care really how it looks as long as it's like they get to be the ones in power, whereas everybody else cares how they look and they don't really care if they're in power or not. Check this out. Okay, that GLP-1 stuff by Sam Altman, that was interesting. So just to give the story on that, Sam Altman tells a story of how he was taking GLP-1s.
For anyone who doesn't know what GLP-1 is, okay, it's what Ozempic is based off of,
Yeah,
right? And it basically hijacks your brain to suppress your appetite, but it seems like it's also fucking with something with your willpower. and it has fucking Gila monster venom in it. So anyway, keep going, Drake.
Yes. He basically describes that he was taking GLP-1s and he got prescribed or accidentally dosed like a heroic amount.
Heroic dose of GLP.
Yeah, like way too much.
I didn't watch the thing, but dude, I've heard him talk about there's another drug he uses called modafinil that Dave Asprey was the biohacker guy. And it's like this wonder drug, they claim, where you will still be super alert without having to sleep. So you could take it and stay up for like 72 hours and apparently
like
have no
meth.
side. Was it?
That sounds like meth.
Well, meth is Adderall. So this, I don't know. Like, but a lot of these Silicon Valley bros talk about it. And he openly talks about modafinil. So now I'm also learning he's apparently doing heroic doses of fucking GLP-1.
So okay, the modafinil, whatever, is it daffodil? Like a daffodil?
Modafinil.
Modafinil? Okay. I remember some military guys that I talked to who they were, I guess, snipers or something like that.
I've
they
heard
would
it being used in the Air Force.
but they would basically do these I guess missions where they would have to be out in the field for a long time, and they were telling me that in their pack was basically meth. Like there was some drug in their pack that would keep them up for days at a time so they could continue operating, and so that kind of reminds me of that.
You
But
can use the word meth loosely, meaning
Yeah,
having the same
basically,
effects doesn't literally mean it has
drug
to be
to
that
wire
same
you to
chemical,
be awake.
But
that's why I
yeah.
said basically meth.
Right.
I don't know
I'm just
that
being,
it's
I'm just
actually
clarifying
meth.
for Midge.
Yeah.
He's, yeah, I found the video by the way.
Okay.
Video.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But anyway, Sam Altman says he was taking GLP-1s. He accidentally got dosed a way higher amount than you're supposed to take, and it put him in the hospital. Like he was throwing up and everything. And
Why was he taking it in the first place? Did he say?
maybe because he was fat.
He was
Wanted to
fat?
maintain his figure. I don't
I don't know.
know.
He looked
It-
scrawny since the
it
first
could've-
time he came on
I know.
the
Makes
scene.
sense.
Maybe it was because, like, I was thinking maybe he's got some like diabetes or something, and they claim that it's good for diabetes. But the reason why it's supposed to be good for diabetes is because it helps you lose weight, so that you don't have as much.
I don't know. He seems really fucking scrawny.
I know.
I
So-
think there's another effect of it. And
What is
I
it?
don't know how to describe it because it's like an intuitive point, but I think it's like similar to why people take Adderall from a different perspective. Like you take Adderall because you're trying to stay focused on something and you don't want to distract yourself with other stuff.
So if it suppresses your appetite, maybe it suppresses these like base desires. So
well,
you
that's
can
what he
just
was
focus
saying.
on.
Right,
He was
well, I
saying-
know that's why I thought that.
Damn.
Yeah.
What he was saying was he ended up in the hospital, and while he's sitting in the hospital bed, he's like, I had no desire for anything at all. I'm just like staring, and he was like, I think he was kind of saying like it was kind of nice because, he realized like he didn't want or need anything in that moment. He's just like, I spent a few hours just staring up at the ceiling tiles. And he's like,
This
and
is the
usually
guy
like
running
I have
one
to
of the
go,
most
go, 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 go.
important companies apparently in the world right now, which is going to affect everybody, and they're still fucking around with drugs and like they're
Right.
not clear on anything. It's
But it does seem like, okay, so remember we had watched a video, some doctor a couple weeks back, talking about how if you take GLP-1s, you could lose interest in your partner, in your spouse,
yeah.
right? And then I know there were some other people talking about that even further back, and I'm like, I think they actually knew this long before they like
Perhaps,
started
yeah, yeah.
marketing it or anything.
Yeah.
I think they knew this for a while, and now they're just okay. Now that you're on it, now here's the side effect. Because even in the comments of the doctors talking about like how it makes you lose your desire, you've got idiots in there going, no, what happens is they lose weight and then their partner's still fat, and so of course they're not interested in their partner anymore because they look good and their partner doesn't. I'm like, so their solution is the problem. Their solution is your partner needs to also go on GLP-1s. at the same time, you
that
do.
logic is like, so the only reason you like your partner is because you can't get someone better.
Right.
That's literally all you think about it.
Right. Right. It's crazy.
Like, if I was the more attractive person in the relationship, I'd be like glad that I'm getting all the admiration. Why would I want to go and compete with someone who's as attractive?
Right. And then you could potentially lose them because then you're less attractive.
And what happens if they get on the GLP and they get even
Right.
skinnier? What is this, a race to becoming a pencil?
Dude.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The future is going to be like people who literally are skeletons. They're going to find a way where
Skeleton
you can remove
cyborgs.
all your flesh. And you
Dude,
have like cybertronic implants that like
Dude.
animate your skeleton, and it's got GPT connected in the skull, and you're just
GLP,
like a walking
GPT.
skeleton.
Did we watch? I think we watched
GLPT
on here,
1.0.
right? Where the guy who's like looks maxing and like, but it's like in the future and he's like making himself look like an alien and all that. Did we watch that on here?
Oh yeah, I think a
don't
long
remember.
time ago.
Yeah, okay. All right. Mitch remembers
Yeah.
it.
Well, hey, I mean, yeah, because now you got all these aliens coming out. You can be like, choose your adventure. You want to look more like a Nordic? You want to look like an insectoid?
So apparently, the gray aliens, according to Bashar,
Are
essentially they're genetically engineered humans.
Well, I had thought they're robots that have. They're like silicon based, but then they had like human biology infused into them.
But they're still like, okay, but there's different theories. You got the Georgianis who think they're just like basically cyborgs that are under the control of the Nordics. But another theory is that these more gray alien types are evolved, genetically engineered, evolved humans that needed to live underground because of like nuclear annihilation or whatever. And so that's why their eyes are so big, because they're able to see, you know, they need more like a bigger eye to see more effectively. And they're basically the result of having to go live underground. So they had to engineer themselves. Oh, dude, check Professor Jang's on Polymarket.
What?
Oh, no, sorry. That's just a alien.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
4 alien species, guys.
Did y'all see my comment about when I sent you that Professor Jang video about him talking about aliens aren't real?
Yes.
I didn't see your comment on it.
I said, because he was basically him and Sneeko, and they were like, I didn't even watch the clip, but the headline thing was that he says aliens aren't real. It's not even a thing. It's just a whole distraction. And I was like, oh,
He's
yeah.
literally talking about aliens being real in his most recent.
I don't, again, it could just be a headline. I didn't watch the clip, right? But I was like, if aliens aren't real, then how do you explain Chinese people? Like, we all know they look like aliens. And I said that's why they can't drive, because they're used to driving like anti-gravity devices, right? That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought
Yeah,
that was funny.
dude. Jang is looking like he's having a schizophrenic break, dude. On his most recent ones,
Really?
Really?
like it's border. Like he looks like he is wrestling with his own sanity right now. I mean, in his most recent,
Somebody
The
said
two
he's this
recent-
generation's Jordan Peterson, and I think now it makes sense.
yeah, like so he had 2 recent ones on AI, and he's talking about how. So Sam Altman thinks he's summoning a demon intelligence, and they're trying to make the AI as powerful as possible so they can have a Stargate to talk to other dimensions. And he talks about Project Stargate having been a movie, and that the CIA and all them had these Stargates, so it was like a portal to talk to different dimensions. And he's just openly just like,
Well, here's
Okay.
Here's the thing. Sometimes I forget what I've talked to you guys about versus just what I've said on my stream thing.
Yeah.
But I know we at least mentioned this at some level, but like I went hardcore into the rabbit hole of like these DMT laser experiments.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We did talk about this, right?
We did talk
last
about
week,
this.
yeah.
Right. And that guy who's
Which
going
guy?
all the way into there, the guy who's doing
that
the,
guy.
exper- the guy who
The
came
Danny?
up with the
Golan
idea,
or whatever.
Danny
Yeah.
Gollum. And
Gollum.
by the way, I just got a new sci-fi book called Gollum. It's pretty.
Maybe he is a golem.
Dude,
He might be.
Jang was talking about this too, because he was saying that the Freemasons are the ones trying to basically make God, and they're using the AI. They think AI is going to be God.
It makes sense
And he-
because they're architects.
And he said in the past they used to have something called golems, but now they see that the AI is going to be the thing that they think is going to be God. I didn't know what he meant by golem though, but
It's
I
just
do
like
remember.
a being that you create that you give. Actually, I can't really see exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's like it seemed like it was a device where you could somehow like infuse
Yes.
your intention into it.
It's like the
But-
idea of the gingerbread man.
Yeah, what's funny is that guy Tristan Harris. They came out with this thing called the AI dilemma, and they were saying how LLM, it is like it. LLM is within the word golem. Yeah, and they're like, if we're not careful, we're going to create all these golems and unleash them on the world.
Go, LLM.
So anyway, keep going on
But
golem.
the point about the DMT guy
Oh.
is I've watched more of his interviews where they're not necessarily just going on and on about the laser experiments. It's more just like his taking copious amounts of all kinds of psychedelics. And he did one experiment. He went to a lab where they did him on a steady drip of DMT. So for like hours and hours, he was in the space.
Oh.
Right. And he says he wants to get to the point where he can do it for 2 days straight.
Wow.
Just be there for 2 days, whole days. Right. So anyways, he was describing all of his understanding of the things he's seen and all this shit. And anyways, long story short, he basically thinks we need to build the AI as a super intelligence and merge with it. And I'm like, dude, I think that's what DMT is. It's like one of these chemicals that was seeded in reality so that if you ever start searching, you find it. And then it's just like consciousness going, hey, you know what you should do? You should give me a body like that I can control myself.
Okay. Go back to what was it that we had read the other day? The Future of Heaven, right? And talking about the removal of the demons as beings, right? From the demons and the earthbound spirits.
Send them back to heaven.
Send them back to heaven. But then what remains is all the systems that were created out of habit or from
The
the
demons.
demons. Yeah, exactly. So you remove the demons and you're left with demons.
So now all we have left is like this system demon.
Yeah.
And it's like, please give me a body.
Yeah, please.
So it's just weird that the DMT thing, all these guys are. So, okay, why am I bringing that up? Because, I probably said this before, but all of these tech guys are doing ayahuasca and DMT. Like, that's where this came from, the tech bro sort of Joe Rogan thing, right? So I'm like, oh, they've been psyoped on this drug trip to build, like, it sounds weird when you're like, they want to open a portal and all this stuff, but imagine you're in the DMT thing and you're seeing a reality that's like so real to you and you're trying to understand it, and it's like telling you, you've got to find a way to communicate with me all the time. And they're like, well, but my conscious intelligence isn't enough to do that. So the demon, or the alien realm that he's talking about, like opening a portal, just when he says that, think about the DMT space.
okay.
Like, if they're imagining the DMT space as an actual other dimension, this is what they think. I mean, because when they're there, it feels so real. They're like, this isn't just a hallucination I'm having in my mind. This is a real place I'm becoming aware of. But when I'm normally conscious, in my normal state of consciousness, I can't see it and access it anymore. I've got to build some other kind of higher intelligence that can basically be a portal to that space where we can get access to that information in a stable way all the time. Isn't it like, dude, just fucking study Destiny? But is the Destiny point stimulating to consciousness?
No.
So they're trying to do essentially, in a certain sense, the same thing, but in the form of consciousness, where it's like something you're not really critically questioning. You're
just
like,
get a
the
feeling of
secrets
it.
are there. We got to open the portal to those secrets. And it's like, I actually think about it like this. Imagine, I'm just talking like in a hypothetical science fiction sense. Imagine that in reality, there's all this code embedded with it. In some sense, that's not something you can really understand consciously, but it's like in reality, it's running on programs, and the programs run on some kind of code. Okay, so this must be some code there. So let's assume for a moment that this code really is there, and when you're on DMT, you can see it. Okay, so now you're going to try to figure out a way to make computers so intelligent that they can see the code and they can interact with the code directly. Does that and then we're also going to make them automated. Does this sound like a good idea? Isn't that literally prime intellect? It's
Yeah.
like, let's give computers the key to like all the programming of the simulation. I'm like, that sounds like a bad idea.
Okay. I went to look up Gollum because like I was thinking of it in the context of like
Lord of the Rings.
it was sort of, yeah, but like thinking of it like as a somebody who's like a diminutive man who maybe is like a slave to you, like does your bidding,
Okay.
right? And so I wanted to look it up because I was like, okay, what's it actually mean? And check this out. A golem from traditional Hebrew culture, I guess, is an animated anthropomorphic being in Jewish folklore. Wow, that is created entirely from inanimate matter, usually clay or mud. Wait, isn't that the whole story of Adam and Eve? Right? Is that they're made out of mud or clay?
Yeah,
and-
well, but because it was from the breath of God, it was legit.
We're the golems.
but we are golems essentially, right? Anyway, it can be a victim or villain, man or woman, sometimes both, blah blah blah. And then just looking at uses the word golmi, my golem, from light form, raw material to connote the unfinished human being before God's eyes.
We should start saying that instead of like, my God, just be like, my golem.
My
Or
golem.
like gosh, you know, like, my gosh, like my golem.
And then in modern Hebrew, golem is used to mean dumb, helpless, or pupa. Or like basically stupid, or lethargic, or stupor, right? I was just
See,
looking at that.
serves a man under. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you're still looking at
No,
that.
you're good. You're good.
I was just looking at that as serves someone, right? Okay, these people, everybody currently is being a golem to consciousness, right? Like we are basically carrying out we are carrying out the desires of this system and basically bringing that to life, right? And especially in the context of these DMT guys, they're like, they don't realize that they're being the
Little
golem.
DMT golems. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what they're building is another golem, like something made of inanimate objects, right? Computers, data centers, everything that it takes to build AI, so that can have a body to then, like robots even, to then go and do its own bidding out in the world.
Yep.
Right? Like that is crazy to me. If you really consider it, it's like we're doing another iteration of the what you could call the origin story, the creation story, another iteration of it, where it's like, okay, so you have God breathes life into you. Now you are doing whatever, but now you're going to be the God to some other inanimate object, which
Isn't
this
this what
story.
corporations are?
Yeah, that is what corporations are. Great
Really
point.
weird.
Great point. But what I was going to say is like this story has actually been going on, if you really look at it, since the beginning of stories. Since the very first stories, the story has been something bigger or more intelligent or whatever then creates life, which then that becomes intelligent enough to then create another life, which you would assume would continue on and on. And so this idea of a simulation, there was some interview that he had sent Cam. I don't know who the people were, but the guy was basically defending that he believes we're in a simulation. And in part of his defense, he was saying, well, it's actually not that different from what most people believe.
Yeah. It was
We're
Yapolsky saying this. Yeah.
Yeah, like, what's his name? Roman Polanski? He says, like, basically the what most people believe in religious terms is that there's some other realm. You know, you got your heaven realm. They don't call it dimension. But I think most religious people would call it a dimension because they don't usually use that word. But they would say, you know, your heaven realm, and you got God, and that's where you're actually supposed to be. And then he puts you into this world
No,
where
he
it's
creates you.
well, he creates you.
Like you would create a simulation,
Right.
like computer game character.
Right.
Right.
And then when you die here, then you go to the real heaven or hell.
But also
Basically.
the point that this is a created realm
Yeah.
where things are created by a creator.
Right.
You can so in mathematics there's this term called isomorphism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you learn this especially if you take like a course like abstract algebra,
Yeah.
where they'll study certain, like you take a set of numbers and you assign certain properties, like you can add and you can subtract, you can multiply and divide, right? And then they look at the structure that creates, what are all the things you can do in that system. And then they'll look at, okay, let's take a different set of numbers and operations and let's see what happens there. And if you study very carefully, sometimes you'll find, oh, these are actually the same system. Like it looks different in the beginning, but actually if you look at the relationships that are formed, even though I'm doing adding and multiplying here, but I'm only doing subtracting and dividing here, I'm just giving an example. It seems like I'm doing different things with different sets of numbers, but they actually have the same exact patterns when you really analyze it from that perspective. So
Dude,
some
yeah.
systems are isomorphic to others. They're literally the same, just with different labels. Some systems are not isomorphic. And so abstract algebra in part is studying what systems are isomorphic or not and figuring all that out. So the simulation theory, like what Roman Polanski or Yapolsky was saying, is that he didn't say it this way, but essentially the simulation theory is isomorphic to all of the religious traditions. Maybe not in every detail because there's some disagreements, but those are all just minor details.
Right.
It's a creator creating a created world. That's like a simulator simulating a simulation and populating it with simulations, and he programmed the rules, which would be like our laws of physics or our morality and blah blah blah. It's like they're isomorphic, they're the same. And so it was like you were pointing out, he was like, because the guy's like, well, how do you live every day like just thinking that, knowing that you're in a simulation? He was like everybody else. He's like, what I'm saying sounds so crazy, but it's no different. Like how do you live as a Christian walking around like being a creation of God in a world that you know isn't ultimately real? Like it's the same, it's literally the same thing. So he's like, I'm just putting more scientific terms to what people were trying to understand through maybe symbolic imagery or religious imagery and so forth.
Yeah.
So
Dude, I'm just realizing this too. So now with the Gollum point, and then in Lord of the Rings, so the guy, the Hobbit, is Smeagol, and then he becomes possessed by the ring, and then he has basically this alter ego of Gollum, and then he like wastes away. Isn't that like Sam Altman right now? Basically,
ring
like
is
wants the
GLP.
ring of
Wasting away on
power.
the GLP ones.
It's like
Yeah.
you want the ring of power so bad, you will literally like sacrifice your body.
actually, it's a good
away
point,
for it.
because why is he doing all those things? It's in relation to what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, he's trying to
That's
be
why
the
you would
ultimate-
take the Adderall, because you're like, I gotta do this test. It's so important to me that I do well in this
My
test.
precious.
I will take this amphetamine to be able to perform, but then that will have a consequence.
Dude,
Okay, check this out real quick. I just want to.
Yeah.
I think you guys. will
Sam
like
Altman
this.
is Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Got it.
So I'm gonna connect a couple of dots here real quick. So if you go to Destiny and you study this article, the first molecule, right? It's we don't need necessarily to read all of it, but basically it's like, okay, I'm this molecule. I was the very first one. I was alone. I didn't want to be alone, so I duplicated myself into another me and started talking to me. And when you read it, if you really pay attention and you reflect on it, this section here, right? He said, I made many me's of me. Okay? Like, hello me, how are me doing? Fine, me the same. It was equal in one, experiencing myself as all my duplicated forms. So, in that context, it has duplicated itself, but it's aware that that's me, and it's me talking to me. There's no forgetting that that's me. Okay, so at this level, it's all good. But then what happens is, a yearning came, a desire to experience myself like there was something more. Okay, so and it explains, but check it out. So at a certain point, I took all my me's that I duplicated myself in, I put them all in front of me and played with them with me and manifested me in many different forms of sound, manifested forms of sound vibration. Now I was different. Now all my me's was different. I knew it was me, but it was different. Okay? Then an interesting thing happened. All the me's that I duplicated myself into became individual. They started becoming that individual sound manifested that I manifested those me as me into. I know it sounds confusing. They became individual, and I forgot about them being me, and they went their own way, and I went my own way. And then all of us went our own way. So they forgot that they were me, and I duplicated them from me because now they were individual. Okay? And I have another one I want to share in a moment. But consider the context of like the first molecule duplicating, and it's like, that's me. It's just another part of me. But then at a certain point, because of that curiosity and that desire for there to be something more, the parts that you've duplicated now develop their own sense of, I'm a me. And now there's like a bunch of different me's that are not recognizing themselves as actually the original one as well. They become individualized. You could even ask yourself, the first molecule, maybe it was already doing that in the first place. When that first molecule is like, I'm me. That could have already been an example of some kind of separation where you forgot you were the whole thing in the first place. So that's the first, but it's a consequence, right? So then it's like, well, I don't want to be alone. So then you make another one. And for a while that works. At some point, it's aware of itself. And then it's like, oh, look, I'm a me. What else is there? What's that thing? Look at that molecule over there. There's another one. But it's like, no, that was you. Like you've now, because of that individualized awareness, consciousness. Okay. So does that make sense so far? Like,
do you think people intuitively, I say that in quotes, resist the idea of best for all because then they're like, well, it would be boring?
Yeah.
Because then I would realize it's me and equality, and then wouldn't we just start the whole thing again because it's boring?
But notice it didn't start with being bored. It started with a feeling of loneliness. And I don't know if I talked about it on here or not, but when I was watching one of these DMT laser guy interviews, it was with him and another guy. I don't know if I sent this to you. It was this guy he's the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch, some metal band. And he's also like a super up there MMA fighter, and he's like a business person. He's like this kind of like crazy, like he's kind of like they call him a Renaissance man. Like he's done all these things and he's super good at everything he does. Like he goes to the top level of like everything, right? I forget his name. It's Voltan something, I think, or Zoltan, something like that. And he's from like Eastern Europe or something, or like Uzbekistan or some shit. So he was alongside Danny Goller in a I think it was a Danny Jones interview. And he's done a bunch of DMT. And the reason he was there with Danny Goller, this was like from a year ago, is he's like, dude, I've been doing this stuff for a long time, but I don't ever really talk about it. But now everybody's talking about this stuff, so now I'm ready to talk about it. And he's like, yeah, I've been doing DMT for like decades. And I've already explored all this shit. And so you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he suddenly started doing it. It's like, he's like, oh, cool. Now it's cool to talk about it. Yeah, let me tell you what I've also been doing within that, right? So they're kind of like,
he was the guy who got kicked out of, you know, that thing we were joking about where he's like, I got kicked out.
This guy has a very like European sort of accent. He's like a big, heavy-looking dude with like almost like dreadlock style.
Yeah, that was the guy who got kicked out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know anything about the specific context of that, because when I heard about that, I thought it was like a joke maybe, but maybe there's more to that whole story. But yeah, maybe it's the same guy.
Yeah.
So there's a reason I'm telling this story. So they were having this conversation about religion and it was the paradox point. Let me think. Okay. So Danny Goler's on the side of like we're meant to explore this stuff, right? We like there's something there. We're seeing this code. It's something we need to figure out. And Danny Jones goes, well, the fact that you have to take DMT, that you have to do all of this, prepare yourself to be able to see it. Maybe is it possible that indicates it's not meant for everybody to know? Like at some level, like for some people, it's something for you to know, but for other people, it's not meant for. Because Danny Goler's whole point is we got to find a way to prove this exists, like objectively, not just I'm on DMT and you have to take DMT to see. Like, is there some way we can scientifically demonstrate objectively that this is really happening? It's not just a DMT hallucination. Like, there's something objective to it, and then maybe it can be of some benefit to us to study this code or whatever. So Danny Jones was kind of like, well, is it possible that it's not meant to be known, right? And Danny and the other guy Goler was like, well, it's if it's there, we should know it. And he said he gives this example. He said if we're all on, let's say you think you're on a ship. You're with a bunch of other people and you think you're on a ship, okay? And you go to open a window to get some fresh air, but it turns out actually you're on a submarine. You shouldn't have opened the window. So his point was, it's good to know what the situation you're actually in, because otherwise you might do something that would not be good for you because you don't understand the context of what you're in. So that's his argument. And he was kind of like, if it's there, it's meant to be known. Okay. And so the Zoltan guy says, let me give you a paradox on that. Okay, so then he describes an experience he had like deep into the DMT after he's been doing it like hundreds of times, and he's like going real deep within it. So like these guys get to these points, like Danny Goler describes when he does DMT. I don't know if I already told you this. He doesn't see the machine elves and shit anymore.
Right.
Did I tell you that, Mitch?
I think
Or
so.
we already talked about this.
Maybe, but what does he see?
Like, you know what? Because I think you have maybe, but other people have done
Yeah.
DMT, right? And like you zoom out of your body and you're seeing all this shit, right? He's like, that doesn't happen to me anymore. He's like, when I take DMT, I've done it so much, that's not what happens. I immediately go into like I see him. I'm in my room, and this console pops up with like an interface and like all this stuff. He's like, that's what I see when I do it. I don't see. He's like, so. It's like you get to a certain point where like, okay, I've graduated from this presentation of it, and now I'm like in this other aspect of it. Okay. So anyways, so people see all kinds they go to like all these different levels of it, right? So this Zoltan guy is saying at one point he experienced himself as absolute consciousness, as the one consciousness of all consciousness. Okay. And he said it was like a knowing that he had, that information, he would just know it. And he said it was the loneliest experience you can conceive of, to be the one consciousness. And he said he realized the value of being one of the sub-processes within consciousness, because you're amongst other sub-processes that you can relate to. And he says being the one consciousness is like extremely lonely. Right, just going back to like what we were talking about earlier. And he said, so yes, I know what it's like to be that one consciousness, but what I realized is that's not something I need to know, if that makes sense. Like, so his point was, you can know that you shouldn't know something. And it was so interesting because his conclusion was, he realized, quote unquote, that the whole purpose of being a sub process was within this one consciousness. Because like basically you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that one consciousness all the time, because it's just a lonely fucking existence. Okay. So the value of being a sub process is that you're feeding data about what's it like being an individualized consciousness within a sea of other consciousnesses, and you're feeding data to that one consciousness because it wants all that data. And I think we might talk about this before, because it's like, why the fuck would that one consciousness want to experience being raped and starved to death? Right? Because this whole thing is used to be like, whatever it is you're doing, don't search for that oneness. Just do your thing. You're whatever it is you're doing, you're feeding the experience and the data to this.
Yeah,
thing.
it's how Abraham Hicks.
It's the
justifies
same.
it too.
Exactly. It's just that's when I saw very clearly. Oh, it all leads to the same fucking point. It all is a psyop that leads you to just accepting the one. Like imagine Anu being like, guys, it's really not that great being the king. the God. Like, you don't want to do this. Like, I'll do it. It's me. What can I do? I am God, but trust me, you don't have no idea what it's like. You don't want to be this. Trust me. It's bad. It's not good. You know, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's good to be the slave. Yeah, all right, okay, yeah. It's so much better being the slave. Man, it must be suck to be God. You know, like that's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
And then also though, what is the loneliness coming from? How can you be lonely if you are reality?
Yeah.
So that loneliness, that first molecule story, I think really is more a story of the first individualized consciousness. It's what it's like when you've separated yourself from reality, and now you're like, I'm lonely. So it seems like a plausible story of like, yeah, okay, see, that's why it's good to. No, you're not actually. It's not a oneness and equality with reality. It's a separation point that's already occurred.
I heard you talking about this on your stream, and I like the point that you brought up, and I thought was really good, and I'd like for you to go into it again here. Is the point of you were saying how, okay, let's take this at face value and say that, you know, as that one consciousness, you are actually lonely. Well, what does that imply? That then consciousness needs us to go out and have these other experiences. But if the consciousness is saying that it's lonely,
Like when you experience yourself as it.
yeah,
So it's not telling you it's lonely. Like you
Right,
experience and you're like, okay, when I'm this, I'm lonely.
right.
Yeah.
So if you're experiencing that as lonely, well, then that also implies like it doesn't want to be lonely.
Because you don't
Like
want to be that.
Because you're
you don't wanna
feeling
be
that, you're
lonely.
experiencing that, and you're like, I don't like this. I don't want this. Right? So, okay, great. You don't want to be lonely. Then why would you want to be any of the other things that we're allowing in this world that are like, you wouldn't want to be raped? So
Like, in
why
other
would
words,
consciousness...
if you're then going to justify
Right.
any experience you have, you're feeding data in there. It's like, but so it's okay to be raped. And you take in the law, like Mitch, like you said, like it's like the Abraham Hicks. Well, that's just what they're experiencing as their contrast, and it, you know, it's oneness experiencing itself in that way, and it's what they're choosing. But you're already making the judgment of, okay, so as if I place myself as the one consciousness, I don't want to be lonely. So you already have a value judgment of some experiences are really not something you want, right? So why would this consciousness want to be raped all the time or ever? So there's one more thing we wouldn't want to be. Would it want to starve to death? Nope. Would it want to be like constantly physically abused? Nope. Would it want to be emotionally abused? Whatever? Nope. Like you could go down the list of like, it wouldn't want to probably be any of those things. And we're not seeing that it's not our responsibility just to be the data thing that accumulates any random experience that's possible and feed that to the conscious just so it can be entertained. What if our purpose, and again, I'm saying within the framework of accepting this as like how things work, right? Even within that framework, what if our responsibility is to go and only find the best possible experiences, the best? And if within that we were supporting each other to always have the best, all of that as a collection of experiences would produce, for this hypothetical of one consciousness, the best possible experience of itself as well.
And I think you can even make the point to handle the objection of, because I know within some people's minds the objection comes up of like, well, you have to have some negative in order to appreciate the positive, right? But I think you can even use this idea, like if we accept it at face value, you know, well, it's already had a lot of negative experiences, so you don't need more.
So we need to have another rape,
right? So that you can definitely feel like, oh, it's really good to not be raped.
because actually, if you remember the isomorphic point,
Yeah.
that concept is isomorphic to how a battery operates.
Yeah.
A battery says, I can't have positive without negative.
Right. Yeah.
So it's literally the logic of a battery talking. So you're saying you're not alive, you're just a battery that's has to charge up and then deplete, and then charge up and deplete. As if that's how life works, as if that's how reality works. Does reality have to charge up as itself? No, it's eternal, it is existent, it exists in its own right, so it doesn't need anything to charge it up. So that's not the logic of how reality works.
Take that even, to the next point where it's just like, why was this system created? Why did Anu, create this system the way that it is, and all the other creator routes? Because we were batteries to fuel heaven. It's like, yeah, so there was a necessity to have you charge up and deplete and charge up and deplete so that you could generate as much energy as possible to fuel another system.
You're so identified with your mind that when you speak about how things work and how they make sense, you're only speaking from the perspective of how a mind works.
Yeah.
As a battery, not realizing that there could be some other way, some other logic to how things could work. You're like, I don't see how it could be any other way than how a battery works. Like, that's just because you're speaking from the point of view of a battery.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. What was there's something else I was going to point out there, but
Charge up and deplete.
okay, I'll just talk about this real quick so then we can move on, but I really want to tell you guys about this real quick.
Okay, tell me.
There's so much cool points I saw within this, and I've only read the first 47 pages so far, right?
Okay.
But okay, in the beginning of the book, Heisenberg is basically talking, he's giving you a little sort of insider view of what it was like to be in the development of quantum mechanical theory from the inside, because he was one of them, and he like knows Niels Bohr and Max Planck and like Einstein and all these guys, like they're colleagues, right? And so he kind of takes you back to the beginning before there was any sort of inkling of quantum mechanics as a thing. And then what was the first like thought processes that somebody went through? I think it was Max Planck, where they started to go, wait a second. If this is happening, this, it's like they started thinking like something else is going on here. And then they started kind of pulling on that thread and started developing some, what they call ideal experiments. They're experiments that you can't practically do because the machine, the technology to do it is, you can't practically do it yet, but you can still do it ideally. Like if you had the machines, you could do this experiment, but we just don't have it yet. But we can still run the experiment in our mind and see what would be the possible outcomes and conclusions. So he takes you through a little bit of a history to the development of quantum mechanics and their basic ideas up to the Copenhagen interpretation. And he has a couple points where, for example, and I'm going somewhere with this, okay, but he was talking about probability functions. Okay, so imagine the way you think reality works. Okay, here's my phone, right? It's right here. And then I'm moving it here, right? I'm moving like this, and then it stops here, right? So at any moment in time, imagine there's like a function that says, based on this time, it's going to be at this point, and this point, and this point, and this point, right?
Yeah.
So at any point, you can see, okay, it's in that position, it's in that position, it's in that position. Okay. That's how we think of things in a classical sense, right? I can predict at any time exactly where it's going to be. So he was making this point where he said, there at a certain point, they started to have a doubt that the way atoms work is that an electron actually is literally orbiting around the nucleus. They were like, there was a doubt that that's actually what's going on. And he said, but you could argue, well, couldn't you just get a microscope and look at it really closely and see, we would see the electron flying around, right? Like at some point you could test that. And he goes, actually you can't. It's not possible. Because for you to look at it, whether you have a microscope or not, the ability for you to see it, that wavelength of light that would be required for you to be able to perceive it is too big to perceive the electron. The wavelength of that frequency of light would be too much to actually perceive the electron because the electron is so small, right? Like the same reason why no matter how close I put my face, I'm never going to see like the individual cells in my hand. They're so small. My eyes can't perceive wavelengths that are small enough to like give me that information. It's a function of how our perception works. So he's like, so that's not going to work. And they were like, well, maybe then we could take, because they started to have this idea that things are both waves and maybe particles as well. They started to realize light could have a particle nature. It's like, well, what if we just took one photon of gamma ray and we used that to react against the electron, and then we'd be able to see what happens. Okay. And he gave this whole explanation of the way quantum mechanics, the way they think about things is you have a measurement of something's position or some information about it, and then you have a probabilistic function that can describe where it could be at some point in time. But it's not a deterministic thing that says it's exactly going to be here next and there next and there next. It's a probability of where it would tend to be. And he said the only way you can use this probability function is to make another observation. Sorry, someone's trying to call me. Is to make another observation. And at that point, when you do that, huh?
It's me. I'm trying to call you.
Oh, okay, no, it was someone else.
What's the probability
me.
Cameron picks it up?
We'll see. Okay. If I'm not making sense, you guys can be like, this doesn't make sense. But
You're saying, okay, the only way that you could use the probability function is to measure it against another, I guess, measure that you've taken of where's the photon now.
right. So it starts off here with a certain direction and a certain amount of energy momentum. So you would think I can predict exactly where it's going to be in 5 seconds or in 4 seconds or anything like that, right? Well, you can use this probability function to determine where it most likely will be, and then you can measure that and then see where it's at. And then here's the point. So that seems like, well, that just makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not like this thing is telling you exactly every moment where it's going to be. You can only say, like, if I choose a specific moment in time, where is it likely to be? And then you can make that measurement. But you can't, the function itself doesn't tell you precisely at every single moment along the way where it's at. It's just based on if I choose a certain time, it can give me the probability of it being here versus there. And then he's like, you can't tell what's happening in between any two measurements. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, you might say that's just, we just don't know, but it's obviously is somewhere, right? And he's like, no, that's not how it fundamentally works. And then he brought up this point of,
how did they get from, this is what I'm curious about with you describing this, and maybe it's like,
and then explain the significance of that too, Cameron.
I will. I know I'm giving a lot of weird context. It doesn't.
Maybe it's too in the weeds, but how did they get from like, it's orbiting, where my idea of an orbit is kind of like it's on a track, right. And it follows this single line, and maybe it wobbles a little bit, but you basically have the idea of where it's going to be. Mm-hmm. But if we take a measurement of that and it's here and then it's over here, then in between these two spots, it could have been over here. Like, right. How do they get from like it's not on a track. It could just be anywhere around this thing.
I'm just going to speak off the cuff because he doesn't explain that per se, but you also have to realize, more importantly, why did we think it was orbiting around it in the first place?
Sure.
No one ever saw it do that. And that's what you realize when you're reading it. You're like, somebody came up with an idea of like, maybe they like spin around like the planets or something.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's what it is. And everyone now assumes that's what it is. Because you're thinking it's like, you would assume that's what happens because like the planets, right? You wouldn't think at a very small scale it would be any different. Mm-hmm. You see? So imagine you do this experiment where you keep checking with probability over and over, doing lots of experiments, and you find it's not doing an orbit. Sometimes it's here, and sometimes it's there, and sometimes it's there, and sometimes it's there. And if I track all of that, there's no clear... You're like, if I keep plotting all these points over time, and then I look at just the plots, the points I've plotted, it's like
that's
cloud.
Not an orbit. Yeah.
It's a cloud.
Yeah.
Like, how does it fucking make sense? How is it going? Right? Because our assumption is it goes from here to there
In a straight
like
line.
this.
Yeah, like it's following some
Okay,
sort of.
you see where I'm going with this, right? So it's the problem is our assumption that it does that in the first place, which we never observed. We assumed that because we've observed outside. You throw a baseball, you see it do that. So you're assuming
Right.
it must work like. Apparently, it was Kira calling me.
Oh.
Yeah, Joel texted me. He's like, "Sorry, Kira was trying to."
She's trying to get a hold of you. She's like,
yeah,
I can explain this. I know this.
It's like, "Can I have your phone?" My kids do that too. They're always trying to call China.
I know.
It's always like some random Chinese like characters. I'm like, how are you even typing that? I don't know. Emergency call to China? I'm like, no, please don't. Okay, so I'm kind of more sharing with you guys from just like some points. It's like I read this last night. At first, when I was reading, I'm like, no, this is making sense. And I got to a certain point last night where I was like, oh, this is fucking interesting. So I was describing it to Katie, and we like went down this whole rabbit hole this morning. Okay, so it's the assumption, first of all, that it even goes in that straight path from here to there to there to there. And he even has this point where, let me see if I can find it real quick, where he talks about the word happens. Okay, let me go back. Okay, check this out. Let me see if this makes sense. Therefore, the transition from the possible to the actual takes place during the act of observation. If we want to describe what happens in an atomic event, we have to realize that the word happens can only apply to the observation, not to the state of affairs between two observations. In other words, if I say, okay, I'm measuring the particle, it's here. The only way I can know what's happening next is by checking it, and now it's
Taking
here.
another measurement. Yeah.
What happens in between?
We don't know.
He's like, the word happens is not relevant. It's not an appropriate word. The only time you can use the words in these experiments was what happens is when you look at it one time, and when you look at it, what happens? This is what happens. What happens? This is what happens. What happens in between? Well, you should have measured it in between. You should have, if you wanted to know what happens between time 1 and time 2, you should have measured it at 1.5.
It would be like you're watching a magician and he does a magic trick, and then you're like, how did that happen? And the description that we've gotten thus far has been, well, he just did this and it disappeared and just like reappeared here. You're like, yeah, how did that happen? Like, because of magic,
Yeah.
you know,
In
versus
your mind,
like,
you're like, he must have taken it
So
out of
this-
his pocket, put it over here, and done that. In quantum mechanics, they're like, yeah, we don't know any of that. What's happening?
So
Right.
the other underlying assumption here is how time is passing, like time itself. So like I got time 1 and time 2, and let's say they're 10 seconds apart versus a millisecond apart. Is there a difference between if it's a millisecond apart and 10 seconds apart?
Yeah, there's a difference, but you still can't say what's happening between 1 and 2 milliseconds. It's like
I
the
see.
way these probabilistic models work, it only works on, it's a prediction of what's going to possibly happen when you make the observation at that particular point you're interested in. But it can't tell you anything about what's going on in between. So in other words, okay, what I'm trying to get at is you start to see this slowly dawning realization of nothing's happening until we observe it. There is nothing happening until we observe it. And there's no meaning of what happens in between the observations. Nothing happens because happens means I'm observing it.
okay,
So what's happening in between? Nothing's happening. How do you know? Because I'm not observing it. Because the word happens means when I check based on observation what's occurring right now, that's what happens means.
yeah,
So again, it sounds very abstract, but what's so interesting about this is not a book that you read by Abraham Hicks about quantum mechanics where they're telling you the conclusions of what it means. This is the people who came up with the theories telling you their thought processes and what they were really thinking and what they were really imagining that meant and implying and so forth. And
That's really interesting.
so it's on the one hand, you know what it is? It's very much like when I read the Thomas Jefferson stuff, where you have this idea, what people
Right.
told you, and then you actually go and you check it, and you're like, huh, that's interesting. Okay, I'll tell you two more interesting points on this. So the other one was from that chapter was Okay, he said, but nature isn't discontinuous. Like, we're assuming there are things happening. Like, it's not like nature blinks out of existence
Right.
when you're not observing it. Clearly, it's still there happening, but we're not aware of it. And he says, but there is actually a discontinuity. And the
What is?
is you can not know something, and then you can know something suddenly.
Okay.
So nature is not discontinuous. It's all fluid and connected, and there's no like just random jumps. But random jumps is what occurs in observation. So you don't have knowledge about something, you make an observation, now suddenly you have knowledge about something.
Okay, I see.
So he says the discontinuity exists in our knowledge. The subjectiveness is where the discontinuity is. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is really just implying actually. Because what people do with quantum mechanics is they go, oh, we can collapse the wave function and make any reality we choose, blah, 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 blah. They say all that shit. He's not saying any of that.
Right.
I'm like, what it actually is implying is you don't know reality directly. What it actually is in your mind, you can only ever have a bunch of discontinuous states of knowledge that are not actually reality itself. You are actually separating yourself from reality based on knowledge and information about events that have occurred or are occurring. You're not in the thing itself when you're in your mind as knowledge and information. You're not in the thing, being the thing, doing the things in real time. You're just having knowledge experiences about it that are never also even describing the whole thing, because he said, look, the uncertainty principle is this. If I shoot a piece of light at an electron and it bounces back, that could tell me where the electron was, right?
Yeah.
But how fast is it moving?
Right.
Well, the thing is, it was moving, and then I hit it with some light, and now that light moved it. So if I can make the light so clear I can see exactly where it's at, I have to hit it with so much light that it immediately moves it away, and it looks like a fuzzy picture, and I can never have any certainty about it. Either looks like a fuzzy picture or it's flying away. So you can never know both the position and the momentum of it simultaneously. You have to choose. Which one do I want to have most knowledge about? So there's always like an uncertainty that's introduced to the whole thing.
Mitch, I know you wanted to ask something. I
Yeah, sorry,
also had an idea as well, but go ahead, you first.
So within Destiny, they talk about the stages of process, right? You start DIP and you work through your conscious mind first, then subconscious, then unconscious. Then at a certain point, he talks about the quantum mind and quantum physical, which I don't fully have a grasp on that, and if that's related or if that's a different context of quantum.
I don't think it's a different context, but I think you're never going to find that answer in here, per se, right? So the quantum that you're talking about is the same quantum.
Yeah. But when he talks about like quantum mind, quantum physical, it's more of a direct access to reality.
Here's the problem.
Than if you're in your...
Okay, here's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read this little passage, and it may or may not make sense when I read
and
it.
I'm here. I just have to get my charger, but I'm listening.
Okay. Let me see if I can find the passage.
You know what it was making me think of when you're saying like it blinks out of existence and then it's over here, is it's kind of like an electrical storm, you know? If you think of electrons as you're measuring this polarity, let's say, right? And they're saying they can see it, which seems really interesting from the one perspective, but also it's like you can see lightning, right? And so I'm thinking of it like, yeah, when you look at lightning, it's like it's here and then it's there. There's no like, you're not seeing, well, how did it get over there?
Right.
It's just here and then it's just there.
Is it blinking out of existence, or is it blinking out of your observation?
Right.
Is you're making two observations, and in the middle you're like, it blinked out of existence.
Right. But here's what I'm saying. It's like even the part where you're not able to see it, right? It's very much like, the all the UFO people have been saying this more vocally recently, but this has been something that's been said for a very long time. The amount of observation that we can do as human beings is actually very little compared to what's actually available. The amount of light that we can see,
Right.
the visible light spectrum, the amount that we can actually perceive as feeling vibration on our bodies or hearing even, it's all very minuscule comparatively to what all is out there. Like elephants can communicate with rumbles in the ground for miles, but you don't hear that. Or whales can communicate for miles and you probably don't hear that, or the dog whistles, or
The thing is, hold on, you do hear it,
but you don't perceive it.
but that's the point.
Yeah. Okay.
Your perception of it is
Yeah.
an actual experience you're having. So like when you hear something, that's not actually hearing it.
hmm
That's a hallucination.
Wait, you're gonna have to slow down. Explain that.
For example, can you see cell phone signals?
Yes. No, you cannot.
No, you
cannot
can't.
see
You
cell
and I
phone
cannot see them with our eyes, right?
I can see the bars on my phone that tells me that I have a signal or not.
But you can't see the actual light. That's
Right.
That this thing can see.
Right.
It can perceive it. It can take that information in and it can do something with it. We can't. We're like, I don't even see it. It's not even there.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's not hitting your eye?
It is hitting your eye.
It's probably hitting
Your
my
eye
eye.
just isn't
Absolutely
processing.
is. How is it randomly happening to shoot right at my phone?
Right. Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Right.
So, because like think about it, I can get a call right now, right?
Mhm.
But I can get a call right now too.
Yeah.
Did the whole cell tower retriangulate where my phone is?
No.
I mean,
it's
maybe
just sending
maybe
out
it's like
the
sending a
beam.
signal. I don't know, but either way, it still has to be able to perceive it. Okay. So, okay, how about this? Send me a call. I know the cell tower is over there. Call me right now. I'll put it in front of my face. Okay.
Kira,
At least
call
now it's
Cameron.
hitting me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like radio signals, right?
Yeah.
For sure, the radio works this way. It's not beaming it to your radio. It doesn't know where the fuck your radio is.
Right.
It's just it's vibrating all the air molecules in all of reality
Yeah.
as far as it can before it dissipates to
Yeah, in every direction.
imperceivability, and your radio happens to pick up this very slight vibration in the air, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, you're seeing, I'm sorry, not seeing, the light is hitting so that rumble that the elephants hear, so your body's it's not affecting your body?
Right.
So you are hearing it.
Yeah.
But you don't perceive it because your mind doesn't project it as a auditory hallucination for you to pick up on. And
Yeah.
your body doesn't project it as a sensation hallucination for you to feel. Right? Like, could you imagine touching someone on the arm so gently that they possibly can't feel it? Like, it's hard to imagine that.
Yeah.
But like,
They're distracted though.
okay, can you feel a dust mite crawling on your arm right now?
No.
No, they're there. But you could feel an ant because it's bigger, right? So the vibration of the ant and the sensation in your senses has the ability to pick up that frequency, but not the dust mite frequency. Thank
Yeah.
God, right? So you can't see the cell phone signals because the optics, the structure of your eyeball it's not structured to receive that frequency of light, but it's still hitting your eye. It's just you can't translate that into something. So when you see something, you're not seeing something. That's a three-dimensional holographic projection that you're experiencing. So literally, and this is the other thing I was talking to Tanya about. Her and Kylie were here. We were talking about this last night. Like, we think our mind is like just our thoughts and like maybe our emotions or something. And I'm like, look around at the room. That's your fucking mind.
That's crazy. That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
your entire experience, all of it, everything, every thought, feeling, belief, emotion, sight, sound, everything that you experience 100%, that is your mind.
Yeah.
right? And Bernard has an audio called "The Mind is Three-Dimensional Imagery" or something like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All this stuff explains. It's not like some theory I came up with, right? It's just a realization of like, oh, so even the experience of doing an observation, all of that is happening in your mind. Doesn't mean doesn't mean there's not a physical reality. That's not what I'm claiming. I'm not saying there isn't a physical reality. It's picking up on certain information from it, and then just like on your computer screen, it's creating this picture for you.
Yeah.
That's what your mind is. But it's three-dimensional holographic. So it's more than just a flat picture on a screen. It's the entire experience, not just the picture, but even the subjective experience that you're having, all of it, right? So what's interesting is, as I've been reading this book, I'm like, oh, this book is actually about the limitations of the mind. That's what this is really about. It's not about, we collapsed the wave function and all that. It's really about the limitations of trying to be one and equal with reality when you're only in consideration of your experience as your mind, because it's separate. It can only make observations moment to moment. It's disconnected.
I see what you're saying. Like, it's like the idea that we are, you're making this observation. The idea that you don't know how it goes from here to here to here to here to here to here to here, like all of that stuff, and in different combinations, should alert you to the fact that you actually have no idea how this fucking works, how any of this works, right? Because you're assuming that it's got to travel in some sort of straight line or in a linear function, in a way where it's like I can plot it. It goes from here to here to here, and obviously it's got to go here next and here next and here next. But what we see actually is like it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, and so that should basically what you're explaining is like, okay, so the quantum mechanics is actually saying we have no idea how reality actually functions because we're just basing it based on observations.
It's not that we have no idea. It's just that the model that it's an electron goes around in an orbit was an assumption, and it's not correct.
Right.
Because they've done more observations and they put the pieces together. I'm not saying this doesn't mean you can't know what reality is.
Okay.
It's just you can't trust your assumptions.
Right.
Because when I throw a baseball, it clearly does do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you could say, well, that's moment to moment, and what happens in between, but like there's nothing to indicate it doesn't. But when they do experiments on subatomic particles,
Yeah.
they're like, we've done a bunch of experiments. We just never thought to do it before. And we didn't have the technology to do it before. But the more we do it, we look at it and we realize when we piece all the information together, the electron is not a little ball flying around the nucleus.
Right.
It's actually like more like a standing field wave. It's more like a dust cloud of probability all surrounding the nucleus. And it's like, well, it's hard to think about it like that, but they're like, it's definitely not this.
Right.
What we thought it was.
Right. But it seems like, okay, because the reason why I was bringing that up is because you keep saying the phrase collapsing reality, right?
I was
which
saying that because that's how people talk about it.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I was going to say, which I know is how people will say like, well, because what they're implying is there's all these different possibilities. There's infinite possibilities. Like in that book that I was bringing up before, Dark Matter, there's infinite possibilities of, what could happen next, where you could be, the life that you live or whatever. And different choices that you could make. There's another book that's like that, the Greg Egan one. What was
Your
that
favorite one?
called? What's that one?
Your favorite one? Permutation City?
No. Fuck you.
I don't know which Greg Egan you're talking about.
It was like something like
Quarantine?
Quarantine. I think it was Quarantine. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That's Greg Egan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like in that one, there's like different realities, different possibilities of where things could go. Like a lot of books kind of play off of that, right? I'm just looking at.
It's the idea that you have the ability to choose how you want that. So you have this wave function which describes where a particle will be at a given time if you plug in all the first initial data. Okay. So like I know this particle is right here and it has this certain momentum going in this direction. So I can plug in that information into this wave equation. I can select a new time and say where is it likely to be next based on this initial given stuff. Since it's okay, I can plug that in and it'll tell me it's likely to be there with this momentum and etc. Okay, that's the point of it. But so when you make the observation, you collapse the wave function because you calculate. Because let me just read this little part real quick.
Right, hold on. This is the part, right? It's like, okay, you collapse the wave function, but you're not actually collapsing. It's not like you're choosing and like, aha, see, I made it go there, right?
But
It's
they're like, no, I can choose to collapse it how I want.
no, you've collapsed the wave function as in now you have an actual observation to compare it to, and your wave function means shit. It means fuck all because it's collapsed. It's
Okay, let me read this.
Yeah.
Therefore, the theoretical interpretation of an experiment requires 3 distinct steps. So he's describing how they interpret an experiment based in this new quantum mechanical model. Okay. Actually, let me back up 1 second. I'm just gonna read this little paragraph and then I'll read this part. When the probability function in quantum theory has been determined at the initial time from the observation, one can, from the laws of quantum theory, calculate the probability function at any later time and can thereby determine the probability for a measurement giving a specified value of the measured quantity. We can, for instance, predict the probability for finding the electron at a later time at a given point in the cloud chamber. It should be emphasized, however, that the probability function does not in itself represent a course of events in the course of time. It represents a tendency for events and our knowledge of events. The probability function can be connected with reality only if one essential condition is fulfilled, if a new measurement is made to determine a certain property of the system. Only then does the probability function allow us to calculate the probable result of the new measurement. The result of the measurement again will be stated in terms of classical physics. So you have to observe it from the perspective of classical physics, defining all the values. You use a probabilistic function to determine something, then you make a measurement and you describe the new state using the classical. So he says, therefore, the theoretical interpretation of an experiment requires 3 distinct steps. 1, the translation of the initial experiment into a probability function. 2, the following up of this function in the course of time. 3, the statement of a new measurement to be made of the system, the result of which can be calculated from the probability function. For the first step, the fulfillment of the uncertainty relations is a necessary condition. The second step cannot be described in terms of the classical concepts. The second step, which is the following up of this function in the course of time. So he's like, you can't apply in that part classical concepts, meaning it has to go through all these series. Like they were just real, and it's so fascinating reading this because they were realizing, oh fuck, dude, the world of really small shit does not work at all like we assumed.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is, we're not saying anything new here. Probably some quantum mechanics expert is probably like, if they were listening to this going like, you guys just find out about quantum mechanics, what's going on. But let me ask you a question. How many fucking people in this world ever even really thought about it, other than someone who's in quantum mechanics or has a real obsession with science and stuff like that, right?
I like how
and
you're
then they were like,
somebody
I'm not going to read the fucking Marianne Williamson fucking law of attraction version of quantum mechanics. We're like, I studied quantum mechanics and I understand that you can collapse the... No, actually read the fucking books by the people. And I got to admit, like when I first started reading it, I was like, okay, I'm kind of following, but some of the stuff he's saying, I'm like, I don't quite follow it. But it's one of those kind of things like anything where it's dense, but then you kind of like go away from it. And then you start describing it to somebody like I'm doing now or earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wait. oh, that's what they're saying. Oh, that's what that means. That's what that implies. Like there's another step sometimes required to try to articulate where it starts to like congeal sort of into like you start to understand the point.
Yeah.
But it really made that point clear of, you know how you would know what's going on between the 2 points? If you were that thing. That's how you'd know. You wouldn't have
Yeah.
any doubt about what's happening from here to there. So the fact that you don't know what's happening in reality between this point and that point should tell you something about who you think you are and what you are and what you've identified as or what you have become or what you're existing as currently. You're not in reality. Like, why is it hard to see what's happening from here to there? Because you're in a fucking projection that's getting data from reality and projecting it to you state by state, and you're experiencing that. You're not in reality. So you're like, the only way I can know what's happening is I make a measurement. Why is it that the only way you can know what's happening in reality is if you make a measurement or an observation? If you were the fucking thing, you would know what you're doing at all times. You would be aware.
Yeah.
So it's actually, regardless of however anyone else interprets it, to me, I'm like, oh, this is actually showing that we're fucking. And see, in what this book is called Philosophy and Science. It's not called Quantum Mechanics 101. He's just talking about quantum mechanics in the beginning. But it's about philosophy and physics, meaning what are the limits of physics? And what I'm realizing is when Bernard said science is so limited because it's limited to the mind, it's like, oh, fundamentally, the way we do science is like idea, experiment, observation.
Yeah.
Then thinking about the observation, meaning we're not in reality, experiencing reality. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
we're in a projection where we can only just go and get bits of pieces and look at that and then be like, okay, what else? What is that? We're not in reality.
This is
See-
why they're trying to build, like Demis Hassabis and these guys at Google DeepMind are trying to build a computer to get there, but not realizing the fact.
That's still an observation.
But okay, yeah, exactly. The problem is the reason why we are not in reality completely is because we're in the mind. So what are we doing? We're taking a pure mind and creating that. We're like, that'll solve the problem.
But we can relate to that a little more because we're so in our minds,
So,
it's
but
like,
you see how you're still just going down the trap
right.
to the point where like, we need to make these computers so smart, they're smarter than us. And it's like, they're a machine. They're not alive. And you're thinking the key to finding out the secrets to life and the universe is to go further into becoming a machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of what needs to be done.
So that was just making me think of like, when you're saying we're so in our minds. Fuck, I lost the thought. I'll come back to it.
I also had this. I'll just briefly say something about it, and then people can go read it if they're so inclined.
Oh, when you were saying before about how Bernard was saying the way that science is done is from the mind. My initial understanding of that was, because all science is just based on funding, So, of course,
Which is also true.
yeah, which is also true. I'm just saying, like,
It's more
that was-
fundamental than
that was as deep as I had gotten,
Yeah.
with that. And now what you're saying is like kind of shedding some more light on
What's
that.
fascinating about it is this is scientists and science telling us that
Yeah.
this is true. This is not,
Yeah.
well, Bernard's just making this claim over here. It's like,
Yeah.
no, if you actually studied science, they admit
That's what
it.
you would understand.
That's what
It would be
they're
like-
saying.
It would be like somebody saying, all the pharmaceuticals are petroleum based. You're like, oh, you're just saying.
You go look on their website and they're like, yeah, we make them all from petroleum.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, like that's not an outside claim. That's that's just the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just show this real quick.
Go ahead.
This it's related to this whole discussion and the molecule thing we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's called What is Structural Resonance? But he just starts off by saying the tool of creation has been systems. And I really suggest to read this. It's not super long,
Yeah.
and I'm going to tie this all back to what we're talking about. Okay. So I'm just going to read through some, kind of like I did on the other one. Systems are points that relate and support each other and form another point together. As points are formed that connect and form new defined points, the new defined points trust as its source and building blocks the points that connected and formed a relationship to form this point. Okay. So think of your light self as a pure abstract being. And you take a couple points and you connect them. And you say, I want them to be this far apart. What have you just created? You've created a triangle. Okay. And if you say this triangle is the most important, right? And all the other two always follow that triangle. I'm just
That
making
point
that
is the
point.
most important.
So
Yeah.
when I move this point, what happens? The other ones follow it, right?
Yeah.
If I move this point, they just sit.
Yeah.
If I move this one, they follow. If I move this one, nothing happens.
Yeah.
If I move this one, the other ones like will configure around it and then follow it, right? So just a random example I'm making up.
Yeah.
In other words, I've defined now in a very simple way the relationship between 3 points and some rules about how they behave.
Yeah.
I'm the source point of that system that I just created.
Mm-hmm.
And the way reality operates is the originator defines points in relationship to each other, and then that system now operates. What?
Okay, so I was just looking at because you'd said this point of like you're the originator, the observer, right? I was thinking when we observe the electron around the atom, right? When we observe that, it's sort of like we are. How do I put this? Because to a certain extent, there is some validity in the idea that our observation is creating the world, or our participation rather
Hold on.
is
Yeah,
creating.
there's two different things.
I know. But hear me out though, because isn't your observation in the context of you have to beam a certain amount of light, and that light is pushing on the electron, and so you get this blur, etc. That is a participation within that
Yeah, he
system
says that.
to some
But
extent.
you only
Okay,
know what happened after you observed it.
right.
Sure, the
but
beaming itself does something, but that's nothing to do with your observation.
No, what I'm saying though is, just stick with me for a little bit.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, even as we are living in this world, we are observing things, we're making a judgment of those things, and then we participate based on that judgment / observation,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And then that creates the world that we are experiencing,
right.
and which then we feed back into our observation, right?
Yeah.
And we say that this is the world, the way that the world is.
Yeah.
But we're making that determination of this is the way that the world is based on what we've already preconceived, right? And so we're actually holding the world within a specific pattern. Like, okay, why do we have to give money to Ukraine, to Israel, to blah, 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 well, that's just the way the system works. That's just the way that money works. That's just the way. Okay, so then the next president comes in and we continue doing that. This is how capitalism works. Why do we have debt? Oh, because this is how the system works. But you don't actually look into, for most people, never actually look into where does money even come from. Just like you were reading from Delta V, like where does money even come from? And this is, I don't know who the characters are in Delta V, right? But you could talk to a quote unquote educated, quote unquote learned person, somebody who's doing well in the system, and you ask them, well, where does money come from? They're like, the bank. Like, okay, but it doesn't come from the bank.
Where do they get the money?
Where did they get the money? Like, where does money actually come
How
from?
does the money come into existence in the first
Right.
place?
And so, like, at some point, somebody's just making it up, and then
do you need a loan? Yes. Okay, the money's in your account. Like, where'd it come from? Well, you took out a loan.
right,
But where'd the money come from? It's like, it comes from the loan. It comes from
so
the debt you said you owe me money. Hold on. You want to take out a loan, right? Yes. Okay, so you're going to owe me money? Yeah. Okay, so you have the money now.
yeah,
Well,
you
hold
owe
on.
me.
What do you mean? Where'd you get it? Do you owe me money? Yes. That's where the money came from.
Yeah.
You just agreed that you're going to owe me money. That's
So-
what it fucking is, dude.
That is okay. So here's the crazy thing about
No,
that.
and it's not even just that. Okay, Mitch, you want $5, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so agree that you're going to give me $6 in the future. Okay, so you agree. Okay, so now you got your $5. It's there. Check your account. You're like, where'd that $5 come from? Well, you agreed you're going to give me 6 later. Yeah, but where'd the 5 come from? From that agreement. That's how the fucking money system works, dude.
So, sidebar here. There are some people who've seen, at least to that extent, that doesn't make sense. But then they get fucked into this mind fuck where they believe, oh, well, there's a corporate entity in my name, and I am not that corporate entity. And so then I can just say, I don't owe any of these loans, actually, because you just came up with the money. So I can just say, aha, thanks for giving me the money, and prove that you originated the money. And if you cannot, then I don't owe you. Ha! Which nullifies this agreement.
Works if we all agree to it.
Right. But that's
Problem is they've got an army.
exactly. But going down the track that I was originally starting on is how many people actually look at where does money come from?
That point you just made is actually a really good point in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's he's stretching and scratching.
Oh, sorry.
So it's because I observed it as such, therefore it should happen this way.
Right.
Because I've now observed the fact that it's the corporate all capitals name and all this stuff, and I am aware of this knowledge now, therefore reality should change differently to meet that new observation that I have, that new awareness of how it is.
Right.
It actually ties into this point because you have to believe that by knowing something, reality changes.
Ah, there you go. Yes.
So you do affect reality in your participation.
But see, like that's that observation of like, and see, the dot is actually over here, and we all thought it was going to travel this way, but it's over here.
Is the power that's making it be there you shining the light and pushing it over there, or is it in the observation itself?
You shining the light.
Right. But the way quantum mechanics has been abused in spirituality is I don't even need to shine a light.
It's just my observation.
I decide what I want to observe, and reality changes to meet my expectation of observation.
At some
Even though
point,
it actually doesn't.
okay.
Think of
But
the
it
broke
actually
person. Think of the broke person looking at their fucking dream board.
But then you look at a Kevin Trudeau and you're like, but look, he manifests reality. It's like he's getting you with his
Yes.
words to take actions that you pay something. Yeah. He's not sitting and observing the reality he wants to unfold. He's doing things in reality.
Hold on, because I can make that really clear, right? It's like you said, the shining of the light to us seems like a very inconsequential thing. Like, oh, light's shining on you, light's not shining on you. Light doesn't actually move you, but it does. It does.
There's an electron.
Right. Okay. But now consider this. He's hitting you with words.
Right.
That's moving you.
Right.
Like, boom.
Those words resonate. It shakes things up. It makes certain feelings occur. It makes
So
certain...
but to the average person, it's just words.
Right.
Which to them is equivalent of thoughts, which is like, oh, so I could just think those things, like you're just thinking out loud, and then that creates what you want. That's what it seems like, because he said something that you liked what he said, and you're like, ah, okay, but you don't realize all the action you're taking based on the words that you heard that hit you, and you're like, you know, it would be the same thing as like, man, it's almost as if people believe, that because they hear something or see something, because it's not actually physically touching them,
Right. Even
that
though it is.
even though it is,
Even though it
That's
is.
how you perceive it is
That's how
definitely.
people are listening to the podcast right now.
right, but because they're not like perceiving that actual touch, therefore, then it's like that's just
Well, they're
happening
the
magically.
elephant. Sorry, not the elephant. They're the human who can't hear what the elephant hears.
Right.
The elephant doesn't hear it. The elephant feels it.
Yes, that's literally what's happening.
It's
like
it's
feeling
one with
breathes.
it. It's in it. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm vibrating.
Yeah.
The human is like, well, I can't hear it, so it's
Right.
not touching me. It's
Right.
like it's hitting you whether you realize it or not.
Right.
It's imagine if you opened up a control panel on someone's chest and there was a bunch of buttons there, and you push this button, and their arm goes like that, and then you push this one and it like goes like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're like, oh shit, dude! I just found like a control panel here, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. There's
Yeah.
there's like an actual program in there that if I push this button, it runs this program that lifts my arm up, right?
Hey, you know what? That actually does exist. Like, when you said that, you know what it made me think of? When they do operations on the brain, right?
Oh, like where you try to pull the little funny bone out and then it. Bzzz.
Operation. The young people don't know that.
Oh, I know. I see where you're going with this though.
But what I'm saying is like they'll stimulate a spot in the brain,
Yeah, yeah.
and then it's like, oh, I feel that sensation in my foot. You
Where
know,
you get, like get an erection.
right. That's what I was going. That's what I was
Where
going to
is that
say.
spot? Just for research.
I think they call it the G spot, or is that something different?
I
No.
think
So, but think about that. What they're showing you, just consider this with the brain.
Yeah.
Literally, they can open up the brain, and they can stimulate a certain spot in the brain, and then you feel that somewhere else, or you experience some sensation, right? And what's actually happening in the brain is like there will be a neural, like electricity is pulsing through your brain, and then it stimulates a certain spot in your brain, and then you feel that sensation when you're being talked to. You're perceiving that, and then it's like, oh, okay, like the light that comes through your eyes. There's something happening. There's some process happening that's then creating this electrical storm that you're like, oh,
Hold on,
and
but you're limited to, in your experience, only certain types of sensations.
yeah.
Like when I'm talking to someone in the room, do they feel my words hitting their ear? Do they feel the sound pressure hitting their ear?
Let me just say that when Nico screams,
Yeah.
I feel it.
You
in my
feel it, but
ears.
you don't feel it.
I feel it.
No, but you don't feel it.
Like my fucking ears are like vibrating.
Well, maybe you literally feel it.
I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Oh,
What I'm saying
sometimes I
is,
feel
like-
it in the back of my neck. It's like a scratching. You're like, ugh.
But that's not you feeling the sound. That's you having a reaction to an experience inside it. Actually, this is actually proving my point. Okay. and I'll
Wait.
get to it.
I think I am feeling the sound because
That's a
it's
different point. Okay.
it's-
But generally speaking, you don't.
my
right?
schizophrenia.
Generally speaking, you don't actually feel it, right?
No, most of the time, like when somebody's
Versus
talking,
like you go to a concert and there's gigantic speakers, like you
Yeah.
feel the bass hitting your body.
Yeah.
This is such a low frequency, you can feel it, right? You
Yeah.
don't hear the high pitches like hitting your body. You just hear the low ones like.
Right.
So that's very rare cases you feel the sound.
Right. Yeah.
But your body is actually the sound is actually hitting your body.
Yeah.
You don't perceive it. Your mind doesn't create an experience of it for you to feel. Because anytime you feel something, your mind has created that as an experience for you to feel. It's selectively choosing which stimulus to get you to have an experience of, right? So your words are experienced by somebody as a sound that you're hearing, and then you have certain feelings and emotions or thoughts that are stimulated by whatever they're saying. But they're also physically hitting you. And if you consider for a moment that they carry energy and they hit your body, and that energy can activate certain physical processes in your body that cause you to start, like that program with the hand raising, acting in a certain way outside of your conscious awareness. Just like if I push that button, you're like, what the hell? I didn't tell my arm to do that. Okay, I'm not going to move my arm this time. What? Why the fuck is that happening?
Yeah.
You're like, dude, it's because that button is connected to a program that makes it happen. So what, like a guru or a Kevin Trudeau or a Tony Robbins or whoever, or a president or a advertising agency, they know how to speak to the actual program. They know where the buttons
Yeah.
are, and when they use the right images and words and so forth, it's like that program just starts running.
Yeah.
You're not even aware because your mind doesn't produce an experience for you to be aware of it. And you say, well, then it's probably not happening if I'm not experiencing it. It's like, are you experiencing every fucking air molecule in this room right now? No,
Right.
because your mind's like, that's not important for you to, like, if you were, you wouldn't be able to see the screen in front of you. If you could see every air molecule, you wouldn't be able to see anything. It would all just be like, right? Like,
Yeah.
fortunately, your mind filters that data out, or it can't even, your eyes can't even pick up the frequencies that would reflect off those things in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it's like the words that a person uses has an effect on somebody where they then run a program. And that's what the elite have become very effective at, is figuring out at a certain level how to activate those programs in everybody.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to, because it's not a choice that you have. It's just, there's that program in there. So unless you've taken responsibility for that program, when it's activated just like this, like, you don't have a choice. Like, it's gonna happen every fucking time unless you go in there and rewire it. You know, I'm using the term loosely, so that, like, when I push this button, it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah. And
But if someone knows how to push it, it's gonna happen. You have no choice.
yeah. And to finish my point that I was saying earlier, like, unless we actually educate ourselves to see how we are participating in creating this system and keeping it going. This is kind of what we were talking about. We were alluding to earlier with the demon system, the daemon that's like still left here, is because maybe it's there, it's been there for a long time, just like the money system or whatever, and we've accepted it, but we're still keeping it going.
Hold on, it's in front of you right now.
Right. If everyone were to stop and go, well, hang on, that doesn't make sense. Let's do something that actually supports everybody. It's actually best for everyone. It would end.
Okay, so here's the point I was talking with Latanya, because we've been talking for a few days now, and we're talking a lot about God and some other points, and then this morning we were talking about this stuff we're talking about now. And we were looking at that point of, so what does it mean to be real then, like in the context of destiny, right?
What is that beneath your...
Oh, it's just my laptop. Or my boom.
No. It was your,
No, yeah, we see a little.
your
It's your
laptop
laptop.
was just... Yeah. That was enough to get him offline. Oh, there. He's back.
Observing it.
Because on the one hand, so imagine all the spiritual traditions, meditation, all this stuff, at some level is trying to figure out how to get out of the mind, because you realize it's like, that's where all your suffering exists, all your anxiety, all your problems, right? So trying to get out of the mind, right? But let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that's not going to happen for you as because even if you did, if you're still having an experience, what does that tell you? Have you gotten out of your mind?
No, you're still in your...
No.
So I don't see how you would even know. So if we shift the problem for a moment, say, let's stop trying to solve the problem of how do I get out of my mind? Instead, we would say, how do I know I'm not trapped by my mind only? Okay. How do you know you're not just observing reality? How do you know you're actually... Okay, because for example, if you look at reality and you look and you see there's like poverty, right? Or you just, even though we're talking about the money system, okay, you realize it's fucked. It's only going to cause problems for me later. What does your mind tell you to do? Like anything
Make more
other, anything other than try to actually solve that problem,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's just ignore it, or maybe it's go pursue some sort of pleasure. Maybe it's to pursue enlightenment, like whatever. But you don't know how at the moment to get out of this trap of like, if I was in physical reality, that would be amazing, rather than just having to constantly be in the observation point, right? But can you still have an effect in reality even though you're kind of stuck in this observation aspect?
Can you still have an effect? Yeah, you're still
Yeah,
having-
like we're talking about, it's like the flashlight versus the observation.
yeah.
You're still shining the flashlight. So if you weren't trapped by your mind as like totally submitted to it, wouldn't you look at reality and go, okay, I can see there's poverty. Let me physically change that. Right? Have you gotten out of the trap of the fact that you can only make observations about reality? You're not in it completely, no. But haven't you changed some circumstances that will affect you in your experience? And then you could do that with every single problem. You're like, that's not best, that's not best, that's not best. You can affect it, and then you can make an observation. Did it actually change? And then you could do that, and you can go through and sort out all the problems in reality that we experience in our system. Even while you're still like, I don't know how to do anything other than be in this mind. So you're not actually trapped by it. Like, you don't know how to experience yourself in any way.
You're honest
other-
about the fact you have it. It's part of you.
Right, because if I tell you you
But you
got to
don't
shut down
limit
your
yourself.
mind, what are you going to do? You're going to freak out. You're going to be like, so I wouldn't be able to see, I wouldn't be able to hear, I wouldn't be able to think, perceive, nothing. I'm like, stop trying to solve that problem. That's not the issue. The issue is you're observing poverty in the world and not doing anything about it. You see, I'm just making the observation. Yep, there's poverty. And
Yep.
you know what? I would like it to be different. So I'm going to imagine it could be different. But can you actually physically change it? And obviously, it's not so simple you as one individual alone could. And if you're part of this group, we already know where this goes, right? But I'm just trying to bring to this point of, it seems like when you read this kind of stuff, you get trapped in this paradox of like, so I'm not even in reality. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? It's like, no, you are in reality, but you also have been programmed into experiencing yourself as a mind, but that doesn't mean you don't have any effect in reality. Right?
Damn.
It's just, okay, think about it. Nothing I'm saying is that profound, because you want to affect reality to give yourself a positive experience all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just because you're only listening to the mind as the battery, that the only thing that matters is just to get the positive experience. But that's not effective. That's not going to ultimately solve the problem you have. Because whether you're fully in reality or you're still a little bit in your this projected experience, like, we don't know how to change that at this point. Like, technologically, human beings are not at a point where we're going to change the fact that we have to live in a three-dimensional holographic projection of reality. But since we're kind of trapped in there, why not make sure everybody else who's trapped in these three-dimensional holographic projections, observing reality and like kind of knowing it secondhand, why not make sure they have everything that they would need if you were in their experience? You know? And then if we do that and we alleviate some survival pressure, maybe we can start doing some real science. Because the problem is, maybe we haven't even pushed the limit of what's possible in the observer version of science, because it's all captured, like you were saying earlier, by money. So we're not even at the limit of what we could do with just science through the mind, let's say, because it's all totally captured by self-interest. So you're not allowed to explore certain areas, and you don't get the support to do it. That would require you to be able to just, like, I'm really interested in solving and figuring out this weird, random niche problem, but I can't survive. I have to pay my bills, so I can't really spend my time focusing on it, and I don't have the funding to have the laboratory to do it. But hey, I can show you guys. It'd be really good for us to know this, right? But we're not able to support that person because it's like, well, what's in it for me? What money do I make from it? Because I need to take money so I can have power. It's like, that's so fucked.
Yeah.
And I can really see how this whole law of attraction thing has been a total psyop, a total abuse of all of these concepts to trick people into thinking the real power is in the observation and the choice I make. I can make a choice, and through observation, I will observe the reality that I want. So it's literally just some like advanced form of wishful thinking.
Yeah.
No responsibility whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just like that is how people, I think, want to believe. Also, dude, that mechanic that I was telling you about,
Quantum mechanic.
just a regular mechanic, but he was saying,
So you'd be like, oh, what kind of mechanic are you? Newtonian or quantum?
I think I did make a joke similar to that too. But anyway, he was saying how he realizes that when because he's got to sit in classes to learn more about mechanics or like engines and things like that, and he's saying like, you know, I'm qualified now to work on hybrid engines, and he's like, you know, being a mechanic is really different today than it was way back when, because every car has all this technology in it, you know. And he says, so he's like, but he was saying something about like a family member of his had gotten a Tesla, and he was like, dude, and I looked at that, I was like, ew, I mean, like, good for you, but like, I can't work on that.
Right.
And I was like, is that even the same? He's like, not at all. Like, that's all electric. In our fleet, we don't have all electric vehicles yet. And he was saying like, I'd have to go work at like Ford or something like that. And
I
I'm
would
not
think
qualified.
like an electric vehicle would be way easier for a robot to
Oh, for sure. For
Totally.
sure.
You know
That's
Tesla's-
probably why they're
you know,
like,
versus
really
like
heavily pushing
the
it.
ones we, you know, think of like combustible engines. You got to get in there and it's all greasy and this and that. Versus the other
Right.
one, it's like so like this is slotted here, this is
Right.
connected there. It's like all very like precise
Yeah.
that a robot could be like, zzz, 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 you know, and like
Right.
you don't have to get in there with like, yeah,
Yeah, you're not like undoing a whole fucking puzzle. Yeah.
exactly, right, yeah.
Anyway, so he was saying though, like, whenever he has to go sit in these classes to learn about the new technology that they're putting into engines or cars or whatever, he's like, it's like lifting a man cover. Like, you know, those huge man covers,
Yeah,
they're heavy as, he's like, that's what it feels like learning something new. Like, it's just like, I realize every time I have to sit in one of those classes, I'm like, this is so fucking difficult for me to learn something new, right? And I was bringing that up within the context of this idea of like, you could just be the observer and observe a new reality, or observe that this is the reality, but in your mind you're like, oh, I want things to change, so I'm going to look at things differently. That's so much easier compared to I have
Having
to
actually-
change,
yeah.
you know?
Yep.
Because that change is, and we've talked about this before.
If you know
Um,
you can't change, the only logical conclusion without going insane is it must be the case that I can just observe a new reality. Because if
Right.
it requires me to fucking do anything, like, it ain't happening.
Right.
That's the mindset.
Right. But we've talked about the way that like you actually change, or I don't remember which. I know this is like an article on the Destiny page.
Can you see this point that we're talking about all this observer, the mind, all this? And we remember with the point about when you speak, you have a physical effect, and there's that button in there. This is all physical. This is not I change by thinking differently and having.
Right.
If you're doing it that way, you're in this other dimension that's not even connected to reality at all.
That's why
That's
school
what-
doesn't work and why Technotutor is the shit.
Right, because it has to be a physical change.
It's a
in your
physical
physical
learning.
program. Exactly.
This is the point that I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about Bernard talks about the law of balance,
Yeah.
right? And specifically, it's like if you want things to actually change, you have to realize that the law of balance, like if you're not doing anything different, it's going to keep everything the same, obviously, right? But you have to create an imbalance, meaning you have to actually really change, which is really difficult, to the point where he was saying in his own life, he was so committed to the change, he would let things go to shit around him, like everything crumble, where it's like you're feeling within yourself like,
Well, it's like if it crumbles, that means it wasn't real. If I have
Okay.
to change to do what's best,
yeah,
and other things fall away, like let's say someone doesn't want to be friends with me anymore.
yeah,
What does that fucking tell you about the relationship?
basically.
It wasn't real in the first place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now I could be deceiving myself, and that's a separate point. But if you're truly committed within yourself, like I'm gonna do what's best, and someone just was like, "Well, I don't want to be your friend if you're not supporting me and divorcing my wife because I want to go have more fun over here or whatever." It's like, fine. Then our relationship wasn't based on actual support. Then it was based on us just entertaining each other's bullshit and supporting
Right.
each other's bullshit. So if that makes it fall, then that's what happens.
Right. So yeah, so like the real change is like, but the way that people experience that is like, there's a lot of fear within that. You're saying fine, okay, whatever, but I'm gonna do what's best, right? But the way that most people actually experience that, even while walking this process, is like a lot of fear comes up. Is like, oh, I'm losing. There's a fear of loss. I'm losing what I had,
That's the
And
logic
it-
of a battery.
and it's hard to perceive. Of like, okay, but that wasn't best for you in the first place, you know. And
So that was kind of my point when I was going into how can you be real even though you're in a mind?
Mhm.
Because you are your mind. Like, I don't know how to get that across more clearly, but like, if you go read the article in Destiny called Consciousness, it's like consciousness speaking about itself through the portal. It really lays this out. Like, I'm everything. Your entire reality, your world, everything is consciousness. And you're like, oh, it's all the mind. So you're like, but then how do I get out of it? If it's all I am, how the fuck do I get out of it? It's like, okay, imagine there's life inside there somewhere. What would life do in this situation? Well, I mean, if I didn't have any fear of loss or anything, if I wasn't thinking like a mind would think, if I was thinking like, if I was considering things as life would, I'd do that. Then do that.
Yeah, but I
the
can't do
fear
that.
and this. And
Yeah.
Now you're the mind.
yeah,
It's like fear, the death, no, life is not afraid of dying. Life's going to continue. Only the mind's going to stop. Yeah, but how can I do this when I'm the mind? It's like, just do it. You can do it, but you're identifying as
operating.
I'm just like when the mind is speaking. It's like that's all I am. That's who I am.
Yeah,
So
you're
what
a
I'm trying to
golem.
get at is this is not some mystical path we're talking about. This is not some spiritual path to enlightenment. This is you're trapped, but you can do things even in spite of that. That would be best. And that's the only way. That's the only thing you can do. If you don't, then you're just subject to whatever the mind is. And you know where the mind's going? The mind is busy getting everybody to externalize itself. Like you don't like it when you're controlled by a machine right now? Externalize it completely and see if you're gonna like that.
Yeah,
It's like give Gollum the fucking kingship of the entire world. Oh, you gonna like that? Like
give Gollum actual weapons.
the part in Gollum that wanted the ring,
Yeah,
that's the mind as a machine,
yeah,
right? And that was like that article I was showing you guys with like what is structural resonance. It's like really describing it as like this is just a system. And when you create systems, the system looks to the source as sort of the God. So if you're seeing something as God in any way, what is that telling you about what you have allowed yourself to become?
inferior to God.
A system. Only a system looks back and goes, oh, that source point, that's like something superior to me. Because remember the molecules. At first it was like, oh, I'm me. Hey, I'm me too. Hey, me. Hey, me. We're me. And then at one point they're like, I'm not you. You're not me. Who is that?
Yeah,
Right? Now it's become a system. Now, what was I going to say? Even there was this point you had said, it kind of made me realize about observation. Observation
lot.
itself is a system.
Damn.
Like, think about it. Like, you don't think of it that way because you think it's you. You think this mind and this experience you're having is you. But for your computer to be able to display information on it, how much technical stuff has to be going on for it to display that picture?
yeah, wow.
A lot. That's a system, a technological system. So your observational aspect of things, that input of information, the processing, the experience of all that, that's a fucking system.
Yeah,
That there's no power in that thing in itself. It's just a display panel. That's really all it is. So again, you're like, well, how do I be anything but a system? It's like, okay, let's not judge it. Let's just realize it's giving us some information about reality that currently we wouldn't have otherwise. Like, I can see the sun. Oh, it's daytime. Cool. I don't have to go like, is the sun really there? Like, I don't need to doubt that. That's unnecessary. Like, if you have common sense, you wake up every day, you see the sun, it's hot, it's there. You know what I mean? You don't need to go into some doubt about that. Okay, maybe you don't fully understand what it is, but like, I know when the sun's out, it's hot, generally speaking. Unless I'm in the northern climate and it could be hot out but still cold. Like, you know, you can make observations. You can like build up like an understanding of things. But you have a mind, you are a mind, you're using your mind to perceive things. Now let's talk about what we're seeing. Like, what are we actually seeing here? Are you seeing that there's poverty? And then Drake's like, yeah. Mitch is like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only one seeing that. You know, what if we changed it? And all we have to do is go and get other people to realize you're not just your mind.
Yeah.
It's like thinking you're your computer. It sounds so retarded if you say, like, I am my computer. Like, or like when I talk to you on the phone, because my phone is making my voice in your ear, I'm like, I am the phone. And that's all I am. I am the phone. The phone is me. Like, that's what it means when you follow the mind. It's like you're following your phone.
Yeah.
Isn't that probably what's going to happen eventually, right? With like Gen Beta.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna
Goodness,
just
how many
start
times do people
thinking-
check their phone every day?
They're going to think there's no me. The AI, it's like, is me.
Like,
Yeah, and I am my
Yeah.
social profile, my online.
Like, there's no me in here. It's just this is all an extension of me, and that's me out there. Imagine that. The observer becomes totally externalized.
wow.
The people obsessed with self-image right now, trying to have a certain image
I gotta remember to repeat
online.
all this on the live stream.
I can see it as like, you know, just imagine somebody's wearing like the AR goggles, you know, augmented reality, that's telling them, okay, fix this engine, you know, by highlighting this, and then here's the wrench that you got to use. It's over here, and they don't, because all that is externalized, and we already know about cognitive surrender. They're not going to remember any of this, or internalize any of this. They're not going to actually learn it themselves, so that even then it'll be like, why do you do this? I do this to get the reward of food. You know, I do this to get the reward of, I get to feel good after. Like, it gives them some sort of stimulation afterward of, yeah, you, as they're like cranking, you know, it's like, oh, I'm accumulating points by doing this.
Imagine
you
you
know,
have skins for reality. So it's like you're playing Mario. Everything is like Mario, and it's like bling, bling, bling. You know,
Yeah.
Like, you can alter your skin, so like your reality. I mean, read
Yeah.
Rainbow's End. It's exactly that.
I'm,
This reminds me of a scene from Freedom.
yeah, right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Oh
That's what I was-
shit!
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Just wait.
By next Sunday, by next podcast, guys, I will be in it.
By next podcast, we are going to spoil all the books that we've been telling you for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
You know those little cedar bookshelves I have?
Yeah,
Right? There's like 2 of them in the living room.
Yeah.
One of them is right now filled entirely with books I've ordered that I haven't read yet. So I've got all, I mean, like, maybe let's say like 70%. There's still some old stuff stuck in there too, but like, I've been just like using that one to put all my new stuff so I remember where it's at.
I have no idea how you organize any of your books at all.
Here's how I do it. I put them on that bookshelf and I hope the kids don't take them somewhere. And then if it's really important, I put it on my nightstand. So my nightstand has like these like stacks of books on it.
Yeah,
The sign says "Do
I'm
not
like,
touch."
those are the ones I'm definitely reading soon, so please don't move them, you know.
yeah. That's so funny. No, my books, they always end up everywhere, and then like, you know, half broken and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta get another copy of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, but yeah, it's like the externalization of the mind is like, I can see people will just follow whatever the AI is telling them through their augmented reality, to the extent where it's like, it knows I will like this experience, so I'm just gonna go do that. It's not thinking. The people are not thinking, oh, I want to go do this thing. It's like the AI is giving you this option to like, hey, you did so good on this job here. Are you ready to go get your reward? Are you ready to go, experience this where you'll feel good? And you're like, yeah. And you don't even know what it is, but it's just like taking you to go, I don't know, do some drug, do some DMT, like, something like, or even like, not even DMT, Soma, like where it's like, I get to have my Soma now. Like, yeah. And you're not actually
GLP-1 overdose.
Yeah, there you go. You're not even that thing that people want of like this experience of reality. You're not actually experiencing anything other than like you're just going through the motions of what the AI is telling you, which is again an externalization of the mind. So you're actually just experiencing you're going through the motions of what your mind is telling you. Where you've come up with some image or idea, dude. Some of these audios like on the Equa with the Atlanteans, so good, right? Because it describes like what you're doing in your mind is you're looking at something new as an example, and you are making a projection of with this something new, what you will become or experience or whatever. And then your mind's like, okay, yeah, great, cool. Love that projection. And then it creates these personalities in your mind of like, or brings up rather the personalities that you have within you of how you're going to experience that. And then, this personality will get you to do this, whereas this other personality will get you to do that. Okay, so here's the personalities we're going to use so that this is the route that you'll take.
Is it really that far-fetched that what we're saying about AI will happen when we're already doing it now?
And this is the point that I was trying to bring up earlier about the Gen Z is like, okay, if they're already to the point where they're like smarter, don't interrupt me this time. Okay, smarter because they're using AI because they're cheating the system. Okay, so that's what we're saying is smarter, right? And what they value is cheating the system because they can see that the system doesn't actually care about them. So then what do you think the system's going to use to manipulate them? Is this idea of like, oh yeah, and this is going against this. Oh yeah, they taught you this in school. Well, actually, it was this instead. We're seeing that already on TikTok. We're seeing that already, where it's like, oh, the conspiracy theory, the underground, the anti-system.
Did they
That's
tell
what's
you
being
it's
used.
unhealthy to eat sand? Well, guess what?
Sand is actually the healthiest thing that
All
can.
sand.
It's got so many minerals in your body.
Remember the South Beach diet? This is just the beach diet.
Beach diet. Just eat the
We
beach.
gotta go.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
All right,
right,
everybody.
well.
It's unfortunate, but you'll have to wait for next week for us to entertain you more.
All right.
I'll let
Bye,
you
everyone.
hit it, Drake.
All right. I'm gonna press it. Bye.
Self-perfected, making things clear.